Get this party started. All right. Bit of a crazy day for me. Holy moly. But we are here. We are doing it. Back to it, of course. So a couple of things that I want to kind of talk about before we dive into all the madness here is, first of all, this Raiders game felt weird to me. All right. And I don't know how to explain that. So I do apologize because it's like that whole game, it just kind of it seemed unfinished, if that makes any sense. Like I felt like it left me wanting so much more from it. And I realize that it's a preseason game, and I understand that kind of stuff, but there was just something about it that just kind of felt not totally in, I guess, for me. So there were definitely bright spots from this game, but obviously the Rams have just been getting smoked in the preseason game. So obviously there's some things there that we would like to change, but as far as like that game specifically goes, even for a preseason game, it just felt a little bit sluggish to me, a little bit lame. So we will be talking about that a little bit. Anything that you would like to discuss here? I already see that Bill is having some input here on the YouTube channel. So appreciate you, Bill. But we will be talking about that here soon. A couple of like just quick notes here. First of all, Logan Bruss may have sealed his fate as a guy who's just not going to be that dope for the Rams. All right, and I don't want to just throw him under the bus entirely, but like almost identical preseasons to last year. Comes in the first preseason game and is looking rough, and then second one he goes out with an injury. So that's unfortunate, and I think that he's kind of like a little bit just behind the eight ball there of just it's just an unfortunate circumstance for Logan Bruss. And unfortunately, the way that this league works and moves so fast, it may just be done now, depending on how bad this injury is, of course. We know it's a lateral ankle sprain, so who knows how long he's going to be down, but that definitely puts a pretty big dent in his ability to stick around long term. I really do think that. Stetson Bennett looked a little too loose. All right. It looked like last week he got all the comfort he needed, and then this week he looked a little bit too loose. It was just missing a lot of things there. Definitely had some bright spots from Stetson Bennett, but like I said, just a little bit, felt a little too loose. Davis Allen, he's making me question all of my predictions when it comes to the tight end position. So that's cool. That's awesome because it's in a good way. I feel like we have almost too many awesome tight ends right now. Bobby Brown, I think he's taken massive strides. I think that I discredited what potential he may have had coming into this season. So that's really good to see. And then also, how many running backs are we going to keep? Because I feel like we've got like 5 that are just awesome. So on that, and also in Denver week. So the Rams coming into Colorado this week. I'm pumped about it. Practices are not open, unfortunately, and I never even tried to apply for like credentials or anything like that. But because I had to work and stuff like that, it's a busy week for me. But Rams in Colorado this week. If anybody's gonna be out here, definitely hit me up, and we'll clink our beers together before we drink them and stuff like that in the parking lot of whatever the stadium is now. It's been a billion things. It's been Invesco. It's been what is it like? Sports Authority. What is it now? That doesn't look good on me, huh? What up, Edwin? What's going on, man? Welcome in. I did share a join link in the description or in the comment section for anybody that would like to hop on and chat with me for a bit. But Bill, hello, Sheriff Joe. What up, Bill? We need a few good men who can stop the run and rush the passer. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, man. But let's keep in mind here that we're not seeing all of our starters, all right? So especially when it comes to the run game in particular, what I'm looking at is we don't have Ernest Jones and Bobby Brown in these games, or we do have Bobby Brown in these games. We don't have Ernest Jones and Aaron Donald in these games. Weird that I mixed up those names, right? Is that a good thing? I don't know. But so either way, though, to not have those guys in, obviously you kind of got to take everything with a bit of a grain of salt because as we did it a bunch of times last week, asterisk on everything that we say in these in this time. It's preseason. Nothing can be like I feel like the overreaction and underreaction happen both like in both sides or overreactions on the good and bad side. So like when the Rams are getting kind of eaten up on the ground game, people are like, oh my God, we're gonna be terrible this year. But then also like somebody will have like a sick catch and everybody's like, this guy's a Hall of Famer, you know. So I feel like so far we just need to rein in all of the reactions, like all of them, on good and bad. We just need to remember that this is practice right now, and the Rams are not playing these games just to win them. Like you don't enter this game like okay, whatever we need to do to win this game. It's more of like situations. Let's put some guys in some spots and see what happens, see how things unfold, and I think that has to be considered. That we're not coming in game planning to score points on this specific defense, and we're not game planning to like shut down the Jimmy Garoppolo-led Raiders offense, because that's just not what you're looking for in preseason. You're putting guys in situations and seeing how they react. And the good news is we have a lot of different guys in different roles who, like, while the play maybe wasn't going well or something like that, guys are kicking butt cheeks. Like, dude, the rookie, Steve Avila, he's absolutely on fire right now, man. He is absolutely killing it, and it's so cool to see. So, like, he's one for sure that I'm like even if a bad play, he's still lighting people up, and it's so cool to see. Trey Tomlinson, he's playing unbelievable right now. Of course, he's playing a little soft. He's doing a little bit of different things. He's testing stuff, but that's what these games are for. These are practice games, right? And it's like it kind of goes back to the whole like people are ripping, you know, guys like Brock Purdy for throwing interceptions in practice. It's like that. It's like, get those out now kind of thing. And I don't say he needs to like defend the Niners, because I would never do that. But it's like these are the times where you can try to hit the window that you know that you probably can't, but it's better to try in practice than in a game, right? Like, because in practice it gets picked off. You can just be like, oh, let me try that again. Like, let's try it again, you know? But in the game, you obviously can't do that. So it's a situation for you to just let it rip and let loose. And that's kind of what I'm looking at in these preseason games. And like Stetson Bennett, like he played a little, like I said, he played very, very loose. But in a way, that's almost good. Like, do it now, man. Because if we need you in any point during the season and you're playing like that, then we're going to have some issues. But now you get that stuff out now. You kind of feel out the NFL speed, because let's not forget that we have so many rookies on this team right now that a lot of these guys are still just feeling it out. So to gauge that, like, you think that we will be good or bad on these preseason games, I think is unrealistic. It's unfair to the guys that are on the field, because these are the first little bits of NFL action these guys are seeing, right? And we're also going to see those growing pains all year long, because even when the real season begins, you're still going to see those guys make a few mistakes here and there, and that's okay. That's totally fine. It's totally fine to have some mistakes because these guys are young. We know this is kind of a development year, and that's just what it is. You're going to have it. But also, let's not forget that these are NFL players. They made it to the NFL, which means you're already pretty dang good at football, considering how many people have played in the NFL. Not very many. What is it? The number is like, if you take every single player that's ever played in the NFL, they won't even fill up the entire smallest NFL stadium in the NFL, which is Soldier Field. They barely, like, you could fit them in like twice, and that's that kind of stuff. I mean, it's got to be considered. So we will get back to some comments here, some questions here, and all that stuff. But I got a guest here, and this guy is straight up the homie, man. We need to hang out, dude, in real life. You need to either get out here to Colorado this weekend, or we need to find a way to meet up in LA at the same time, man. But let's go ahead and bring him in. It is Edwin, dude. What up?
How you doing?
Doing incredible, man. I got zero complaints. It's a beautiful day, man. How are you?
Oh, it's actually really, I don't know if you can see, it's really smoky out. There's a lot of fires going on in the area, so it's been pretty smoky. But, I mean, my Rams, you know, I love watching the preseason games, so I get my mind off of things, so pretty awesome.
Heck yeah, man. That's it's kind of like, without going in like too crazy into like details or going on a bit of a soapbox or anything like that. It's like part of the reason I'm so like hardcore about the Rams is because like a pretty important time of my life, that was like the Rams were like, it was a way for me to spend 3 hours of my week and just ignore the world for a little bit. And I kind of just got sucked in, man. It pulled me in so tight. So yeah, without going into all that, the details and all that stuff.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So it's like that, like the meme of like the Rams like covering all the swords or whatever. It's like that's what it is, you know. But
exactly.
You said, I mean, we're hardcore fans, man. We like these preseason games and stuff like that. It's obviously you're in it, and I'm like driving around. I've got I signed up for NFL Plus. So I got it on my phone.
I did too.
Driving around because I was like, I gotta watch this game. I can't just miss it. Like, what am I doing?
People don't understand that. They're like, why do you care about preseason games? I'm like, because the Rams are playing. That's why.
I have to know. I have to see what
happens. If it was the Rams cheerleaders against the Niners cheerleaders in football, I'd watch that too.
Yo, that sounds so lit, actually. Right? That sounds amazing. I would pay money to watch that.
Yeah. Hey, there's an idea.
Yeah, dude, totally, man. So this game in particular, man, I don't know. I feel almost alone here, and I know that I'm not because I've already had some conversations with some other people that I kind of left this game being like, that wasn't enough. Like there was some things I wanted to see in like things that I feel like I didn't see. Like in Stetson Bennett, I kind of feel like at no point did he really settle in this time. And then the run game, like Ronnie Rivers started really strong and then just kind of seemed like a little bit of a mess. And then, of course, we're just giving up points and stuff like that. And so the game kind of just got away from us. But did you feel that at all that you like the game kind of ended? You were like, damn it, I wish we had another quarter. Like,
I did because like never once did I feel kind of like what you were saying, Stetson Bennett kind of get into that groove like I felt like he kind of had in the first preseason game. And Ronnie Rivers, whoa, I was very surprised and amazed. Like he got yards when I thought he was going to get a negative play.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did this guy even get a yard or two? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by him. And our that tight end, what's it, Davis
Allen.
Yes. Oh, I didn't realize where did this guy come from? Like, because forever, Tyler Higbee's been our guy, and I will be very, very upset if Tyler Higbee goes somewhere else. Like he needs to retire a Ram, and I just didn't realize the depth we've had with tight end. So that's pretty good. I was loving that. But yeah, I mean, Stetson Bennett, kind of like what you were saying, like I felt like he was a little too loose. Like that last, I think it was his last touchdown where he ran it himself. Like he does have some legs and he can move. He can move around definitely. But I was kind of worried. Like I want him to be able to see him make a deep ball. Like there was times where I felt like he doesn't have enough arm strength. And I don't know if you saw that too, but I just kind of felt like I wanted another quarter, like you were saying. But at the same time, like, my buddy was with me and he's like, oh, you guys are getting demolished. I'm like, well, the Raiders started their number ones, in the first quarter. I'm like, that's what's going to happen. But I'm getting more and more worried about our defense more than anything else, like our D line. Like they say like, oh, just wait till Aaron Donald gets in there. It's going to be different. I'm like, okay. But even if Aaron Donald gets in there and he's getting double, triple team, are the other guys going to win their one-on-ones? And that's where I'm kind of worried about that.
To that, I would say that I am very impressed with how Bobby Brown's been playing.
Yeah. Yep.
He's been on it, man. And I did kind of feel like we would have seen more from Kobe Turner at this point. Of like him just kind of like winning some battles. We haven't really seen that from him yet. But Bobby Brown, man, he looks stronger. He does look a lot better this year. Like I think that this is the year that he takes that next step. So having him next to AD obviously helps. Marquise Copeland returning. We haven't really seen a lot of Marquise Copeland. He has been out there, but we haven't seen a ton of him. But honestly, I think that with the way that just these preseason games have gone and the comments that we've heard from camp and stuff like that, I do really I'm starting to feel like an Aaron Donald, Kobe Turner, and Bobby Brown defensive line might be our best option because he is playing really well. He's hitting those holes right. He had that tackle in the backfield on that run where he just kind of split the guards and he kind of it was a little reminiscent of an Aaron Donald move. And I know I'm not going to put him in that same conversation. We know that he's not the same guy. Nobody's the same guy. Aaron Donald's his own class.
One of one.
Yeah, 100%. But when you see stuff like that, then you can it's easy to see that he's learning. He's headed in the right direction, especially when you consider his entire career where he gets suspended and stuff like that. Where was it last year? He gets suspended for the first 6 games, so he's missing time. And it's is he going to take that leap? And it does appear that this year would be that year. And yeah, you absolutely have to consider the fact that when Aaron Donald is on the field, it's a different team. It's a different defense entirely. We saw that obviously last year. When he went down, that it was then I feel like every offense that we played just exhaled. It was okay, cool. We can run our team. We can run our offense now. We don't have to worry about this guy. So yeah, that's obviously a big game changer. And I would also throw in there that Ernest Jones not being in there and getting everything set is obviously a very big detriment as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, right? How much longer are we going to have Aaron Donald?
A&M bias does not come into play when he's absolutely kicking butts back there, dude. Come on now.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe a little bit.
See, but that scares me because, like, how much longer are we going to have Aaron Donald for? And once he's gone, what are we going to look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing too, is it like, I don't know. It seems like he's pretty motivated right now. He's clearly in incredible shape. I mean, you see him on like the sideline doing that interview, and it's just like, Jesus, like how's this dude real? Like how is it?
Yeah. Is it possible to get even more buff?
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude, you did it. Like you're there, man. Like, oh, relax. Like, so,
Yeah, but did you see that quote he had where he said that he's not where he wants to be?
Yeah.
That he has like basically a chip on his shoulder, and he has that extra motivation, and I can't wait because people are just counting him out. Like so many people have left him off. The best defensive players in the league. Like he's completely fallen off a cliff, and it's like he's gonna remind everybody who he is, and then everybody's just gonna jump back on that bandwagon.
Which is fun, man. It's fun to see a guy like Aaron Donald in the year that he's in, like so deep into his career, and this motivated to show people like it's like he's not done yet, and that's awesome. And I think that mindset is also in Sean McVay. Like I feel like this whole team right now kind of has this like this whole team has a chip on their shoulder. It kind of feels like, because like McVay, obviously coming off of last year, he's gonna want to show that he can pull it together. And this is really the year that we get to know exactly how good of a coach Sean McVay is and how good of a staff we have, considering how young everybody is. If they can put everybody in the right position, then that means we have a damn good coaching staff, and that's obviously a big plus. But it seems like even these rookies, like everybody, the number of rookies that we have and the youth that is on this roster, it feels like everybody's kind of just. It's like, oh, well, they're inexperienced, so it's not going to be very good and stuff like that. And I feel like all of them are kind of taking that as like, okay, yeah, we'll see. And like Tomlinson, Puka, all these guys are like, it feels like they have that energy of like, just because we're young doesn't mean we don't know how to play football, man. Like, so yeah, I'm excited.
Oh yeah. And I was actually really surprised to see, went back on defense, John Johnson getting some reps. Like he was, and I was like, oh, okay, hey, John.
Yeah, I did my article today talking about some questions that we have in each position group and stuff like that. And John Johnson, I mean, do we keep 5 safeties? Is that real? I would guess so. I'm guessing so, just because of who they are.
We better not get rid of Quentin Lake. I have high hopes for him.
I like them all, dude. I like all 5. I'm obviously a big Jordan Fuller fan. I love John Johnson. I'm super pumped to see what Jason Taylor does. Russ Yeast I like, and Quentin Lake I like. So I like all of them. I don't want to see any of them go, honestly.
Right? Yeah, we can just keep them. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, too, is it like it's you mentioned like the Ronnie Rivers thing. It's like that begs the question of like, what is going on with this running back position? How many are we
cut the guy we just drafted?
Or do we cut Royce Freeman, who's been he's been playing well too in these preseason games. Like,
right.
So I don't know, man. And we're not going to keep that many. We can't. It's just not the way that our team is built. And the same thing with the tight end positions. With how much 11 personnel that the Rams run, we don't need to have a bunch of running backs. We don't need to have a bunch of tight ends. What we do need is a bunch of wide receivers, which we have. And I'm sure that we'll keep like 7 or 8. But that also means that we're not keeping that many running backs and or tight ends. So who stays, man? I don't know. I really don't know.
I guess it's a good problem to have. You know what I mean?
A good problem to have. This is better.
I'd rather have this than not have, than all our guys just sucking.
I used to talk about that when we first started, like, cut it, like, because people get really frustrated when we cut good players, and understandably so. We obviously want to have good players on our team, but when you're cutting good players, that's almost a good thing. Like, it's better to have a surplus of talent and be letting guys go that you don't actually want to let go than what we used to do, which was keep guys because we had no other options. Like the Jeremetrius Butler, Travis Fisher at corner days when like we let them go and they never signed anywhere else. It's like,
exactly.
we had guys that other people were like, nah. So that's the problem. You know what I mean? So.
I was going to ask you, how are you feeling about our kicker situation?
I'm nervous. I'll be honest. I'm nervous. Tanner Brown makes me nervous.
Me too. Blankenship just got let go from the Bucks.
I know, dude. Hot rod, bro. So too many people call him my doppelganger. I'm a little offended by it, but it's okay. But
I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
I don't really either. I mean, I get it. I'm a skinny, nerdy dude with glasses, but I mean, that's it. That's the end of the list. So, also have a longer hair and a mustache now. So
You know, I became a fan of his when he had an interview with NFL Network, and he has like a collection of like Legos, and he is like the biggest like Star Wars nerd. Like
he's a nerd, like a straight up
yeah,
nerd.
and I'm like, this guy's in the NFL. Like that's amazing.
Hell
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And from that day on, like I was just a fan of his, and I like. Obviously, I don't root for him if he's playing with the team against the Rams, but I mean, if he's on, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's awesome, you know. So I think it'd be kind of cool to get him, especially because I do not want the season to start and have another Sam Sloman situation. That was just
that was rough, man. But
that was
What I will say is the entire mechanism being so new, obviously with rookie long snapper, rookie punter, and holder.
I'm loving our punter though.
Dude, I'm torn right now. Honestly, he's got a hell of a leg, but he's out kicking the hell out of his coverage, and we're giving up way too many returns. And so it's like it's impressive to boot the hell out of the ball, but also let your guys get down there. Let your coverage get those tackles. So
sometimes I just feel like he should just kick it, you know, boot it, and so doesn't get the opportunity to get returned because I feel like we don't even have an opportunity to get him. You know?
And he's like I said, his power incredible. It's a very impressive power, but he's out kicking the hell out of his coverage, which I really would like to see stop. He had one in the Raiders game that hit the sideline right at the sideline where it ended, and that was nice. That kind of stuff I can absolutely deal with and be super stoked on. But how many times he's allowing guys to catch a punt without somebody within 20 yards of them is making me nervous. And these
we pay for it.
Way too fast and too shifty, man. These punt returners, they're way too quick to be given that kind of space, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just hoping we I don't know. I want, like, I feel like we have the capacity and we have the talent to make something special happen. It's just putting all of the pieces in the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I feel like this year we're going to see some of those mistakes where you're like looking at them like that was a bonehead move, man, but that's just what's going to happen with these rookies and stuff, man, with this young team. It's just going to happen. But also, like, I feel like there's so much talent on this team as well that, like, we're also going to see times where, like, maybe we shouldn't be competing as well as we should against some of these incredible teams that we're playing, but we're going to be playing well because also let's keep in mind that, like, when these other teams are looking at the Rams, and obviously inside locker rooms, it's a very different vibe from what the media is portraying and talking about and all that stuff. But it's very possible that other teams go into games against the Rams being like, oh, look at how young they are. Look at this, like, their offensive line wasn't that good last year. These corners are young, stuff like that. And maybe they come in a little soft against the Rams and then get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, that's obviously a possibility. Every single game is its own individual identity, and whatever you did the week before doesn't necessarily directly translate into coming into next week. Like, they're all separate entities. So that's what gets me excited, man, is that we could take any of these games could be in our favor, and that works.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, you know?
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, people aren't even giving us, like, any sort of chance to make any noise, and I think that's, like, the most exciting part, right? It's just, you know, proving people wrong and just showing people, like, hey, we're still here. We're still going to punch you in the mouth. Like, and for people to just doubt Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, you know, and just everybody we have is just like, did you forget how good these players are? Did you forget Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown, won Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP? Like, did you forget Aaron Donald made that last play for us to win the Super Bowl? Like, Matthew Stafford with the no-look passes, and he has a freaking cannon. Like, I don't understand the people that are just like think that we just completely just fell. Like, I don't get that.
Well, see, and I'm kind of like, I understand the hesitation for even Rams fans to be like super stoked that we're going to be awesome or anything this year. But, like, what I kind of say to that is, like, we don't know, right? So it's like coming into 2019, we thought we were going to be a damn good football team. That was like the year, man. Like, that was like, it was like we came off the Super Bowl off, but it was like, okay, no, but all of our pieces came back. Like, this is going to be awesome. Didn't make the playoffs. Then obviously going into, like, and it's kind of funny to look back at my own stuff because when Matthew Stafford showed up to the Rams, my brain kept on going, the 2022 Rams are going to be the sickest team ever, man. It was like we get too many games at SoFi because we get 9 home games already, and one of our road games is at the Chargers, and it's like
Right.
it's like, and then Matthew Stafford will have his second year in our system. Like that's going to be the year. Obviously, total opposites. Like 21, obviously win it all, and then 22, it was a bad one. So it's just one of those things, man. Every year, and like it's its own identity. We don't know when we're going to be good or when we're going to be bad. I felt like 21 was going to be an okay year for the Rams. Ended up winning the Super Bowl. I thought 22 was going to be an awesome year for the Rams. Won 5 games. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like what you're saying. You just don't know until you're actually playing the games, because like everybody always has those teams that they hype up before the season. They're like, oh, yeah, this team's going to be amazing. And they don't even make the playoffs. And then there's a team that everybody projects like, oh, they're not going to do anything. And they make a run, you know?
Yep.
So why can't that be us? You know what I mean?
I really don't see why not. And honestly, too, we're playing against a third place schedule, so that helps a little bit. We've had tough schedules the last few years, but this year it feels like we get a little bit of a break with that, just getting that third place in there. So like you get that part of it too, and then obviously like our division is tough, but like how tough, I don't really know yet. Like
I don't know, man. Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, or Sam Darnold, and you got maybe Kyler if he's going to play. How hard?
Who knows? Who knows how long until he plays? I don't even know if we'll see him in our first matchup against him. But
yeah,
we'll see, man. Clayton Tune starting at quarterback for the Cardinals, man. Like
right.
But and we don't. And then I always kind of comment on the 49ers quarterback situation. Is that's an absolute mess as well, you know. So who knows?
Yeah, but everybody's so quick to already crown them like, you know, winners. And it's like they haven't won anything this year. Like everybody starts at 0, everybody else, you know. So it's like, and I don't know, personally, I feel like the Eagles are getting too much hype. I mean, I don't think like, yeah, they're a good team, but everybody's already thinking that they're going to go to the Super Bowl again. So
I have 2 teams in my brain that I think take major steps back this year, and that's Philly and Buffalo. Buffalo is just because they seemed like they were right there. They were right on that cusp, but they've gotten progressively worse every year. And not
and then the whole thing with Stephon Diggs, like what's going on with that?
And like, it's not even in terms of talent. It's in terms of like they lose the AFC Championship game and then they get like smoked in the divisional round. Like it's just like they just keep on their season ends worse and worse. And then Philadelphia, it's not that I don't think that they're talented. I just don't think that people are giving enough credit to the exit of Shane Steichen. I think that he was a very big part of that offense, and I think that we're going to understand how big of a piece of that offense he was now that he's gone and in Indianapolis, of course.
Right, exactly.
And it's good stuff, though, man. This is going to be, I don't know. We'll see. Because we also see it's like what? It's like 2 teams every year go from worst to first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I'm a little more hyped on the Jags this year. I feel like they're going to take a step forward.
I agree.
Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence like actually has a competent coach, and I mean they came back against the Chargers, and I mean I think it's going to be
that was so funny watching that one. I remember like watching with I was at work watching that game, but I remember they scored that touchdown right before halftime. In my brain, immediately was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "That's not good for the Chargers." I was like, "They're gonna blow this." Like, it's kind of felt it. I don't know what it was, but
Chargers just charging it up, man.
Exactly. It was like, "Oh, this is the most Chargers thing that we're ever gonna see." Them blowing this.
Exactly.
Like, so yeah, man. But all right, let's see here. We got let's go to the. If you want to hang out with me, it's okay. I'll let you go if you need to take off, man. But
I got 5 more minutes.
All right, 5 more minutes. All right, here. So let's go. First of all, Edwin for the win. Did you ever spell your name like that? Just capital W-I-N at the end there?
All the time.
Oh, yeah, you should.
It's the only way to spell it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peo coming in. What are your guys' thoughts on the long-term future of the Rams with this draft class? I'll let you start, man.
Well, I'm pretty excited about it. Like we said, we just have a lot of unknowns right now, and we're trying to figure those out. And like you were saying, growing pains. But I will say this, Puka Nacua, I was on that bandwagon as soon as we drafted him. And Tomlinson, I knew he was going to be amazing from the moment we got him because he just has that pedigree, and he won the I don't know if you know this, but he won the award for best corner in college.
I didn't know that, actually. I don't pay too much attention to college. I'm not a big college guy anymore now that I work on Saturdays. So
that's Steve. But yeah, and he plays bigger than he is, which I love. And he is not afraid, whether it's Devontae Adams or a no-name receiver. He'll go at you at full speed, and I love that. And I love that he's not afraid to tackle. And and I know I shouldn't, but he kind of reminds me of Ramsey, like in that way. Like he's just not afraid to get in there, and I love that. And I'm just very excited for just to see what these guys can do. And I've already had like certain instances watching the preseason games where I'm like, oh, come on, guys, like that's such a boneheaded mistake. But it's like I got to remember, like these guys are brand new, you know, they're not veterans, and they need that time, they need the reps, and I'm really grateful we have these preseason games so we can take a look at these guys. As far as Stetson Bennett, I'm very excited to watch him and see his progression. I think if he just kind of reads the field a little better, you know, kind of take what the defense is giving you instead of forcing things. Just kind of let yourself take a check down instead of trying to make those big plays. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited for this draft class. I'm really hyped to see what we can do this season. And I think we're gonna prove some people wrong this
year. I think the way that I feel about this draft class is like typically you can hit on about 25% of your rookies, right? Like that they're at least contributors in some capacity, whether that's, you know, being awesome like an Aaron Donald or just being a guy that's there and productive, even though he's not absolutely lighting it up like a Tyler Higbee or something like that, you know. But you can bank on about a quarter of your guys being those. We have 40 rookies. So if we can pull 10 of those guys being actual contributors, dude, that is the massive. And if we happen to get lucky and can push 15, 16 of these guys being long-term contributors, this could be like one of the best rookie classes in NFL history. Like simply because it's just it's one of those like shotgun blasts of like, it's like, screw it. It's like, let's hit something. Like we're going to hit something. You're like, there's no way 40 dudes none of them are going to hit. You know what I mean? Like
that would be a record, a horrible record.
Yeah. We're going to have some gems out of this class, guaranteed. Like that's just the way it works. You don't get 40 guys that are in the NFL and all of them are absolutely garbage. You know what I mean? Like it does not happen. So for that reason, man, like it's just who's gonna shine. We feel pretty good about Steve. We feel pretty good about Byron. We feel pretty good about Kobe Turner. Is that a cat? Yeah. What's up, kitty?
That's grumpy.
But yeah, it's like we feel good about Puka, Trey. Like we have guys that should absolutely hit. So my opinions on the long-term like health of this draft class and this rookie class, I feel extremely good about it because it's just the way it is, man. It's like you're not going to accidentally you're going to accidentally hit on some of these guys is what I'm trying to say. And
right.
Even we don't even know who yet, you know. And it sucks too because
law of averages.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so like we're also in a situation where we're going to probably see some drafted rookies who don't make the cut. Like maybe like a Nick Hampton, I know Sean Mathis, something like that. Like it's very realistic that we see drafted rookies that don't make the cut. We've seen it before with under Sean McVay. Used to feel like under Jeff Fisher, like if you were drafted, you were at least going to make the team. But no, that's not really the case. Like you got to show up. And guys like Nick Hampton and O'Shawn Mathis, I mean, Nick Hampton, I like him, but he just gets eaten up by blocks, man. Like I'm not seeing anything that's like that jumps out to me as like, oh man, this guy is going to be good. Like I just haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I just, you know, that's just the way it is right now. So
exactly.
So all right, man. I'll let you get out of here. Thanks for hopping on. Though, appreciate you, man. You
look cool, man. With your I appreciate you letting me be on here.
Hat, your SC shirt, dude.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Looking cool as hell, man.
Thanks, bro. You too. Love that beanie, man.
Dude,
and I'm still hoping for one day, you know, if you decide to get rid of that Greg the Leg jersey.
Keep on trying, man.
I will. I will
Keep
never stop
trying.
asking.
I'll put it in my will to you. How about that?
Yeah, there you
So you gotta wait a while.
go. Right? Yeah. All right, man. Thanks
Hey,
for letting me
man.
hop on.
Dude,
Go
always.
Rams.
Go Rams. All right. So again, I'll go ahead and plop this puppy in here if anybody else would like to hop in and hang out with me here. But we'll go back into these comments here and start knocking out some questions here. Danny, going on any preseason sleepers for you so far? I'm so far. I've definitely seen some things that I like in the preseason from different guys. I think ultimately Bobby Brown is really sticking out to me. He really stuck out to me in this Raiders game. I was really pleased with what we saw out of him in that game. He just had some moves that like he was doing it, man. So of course. That like somebody already commented that I got like my A&M bias in there, but it maybe not, man. But I don't know because I feel like when I'm seeing people do well at football, it's just like, hey, that guy's good at this. And it's not because where he went to school. He was playing good football, man. So I don't know. But so far I would go there. I felt like we would have seen more from Kobe Turner and Nick Hampton. I kind of just expected them to maybe flash here and there. We just haven't seen it yet. Kobe Turner's not playing poorly, but he hasn't like done anything where I'm like, holy moly, man, this guy's awesome. So we're kind of waiting on that. I put it in my article that Nick Hampton and O'Shawn Mathis, that neither of them have elicited a golly from me yet. Because I'll be honest, I've reached a weird point in my life where now when I see something insane on a football field, my brain immediately goes to golly. And I have got no gollies for Hampton or Mathis yet. So, and that is the highest praise that I can give a player is when he makes a play and I say, golly. I don't know why. I didn't choose this. This is not this is all accidental. All right. So, does Hunter Long make the team, dude? This is where it gets so difficult, man. I'm trying to put together like my cut predictions, right? And it's so impossible right now because I don't know. I don't know if he makes the team or not because with what we saw from Davis Allen, and of course you got to take that with a grain of salt. We got to. That's where's it at? Where's it at? It's preseason, okay? So we got to take everything with just like that knowledge in there, just that little nugget in there that like, hey, this is preseason. We might be overreacting, okay? We always have to keep that into consideration. So that. With the way Davis Allen was playing, though, I mean, if he can continue that, if he can do something like that again in Denver, then I would expect him to make this team. But and also, I kind of just expect him to make the team. I'll be honest. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like his spot is that much in jeopardy. When this entire time we kind of felt like Hunter Long was, although we do get positive comments from the coaching staff about Hunter Long, so that has to be considered as well. So, does Hunter Long make the team? I really don't have an answer for that right now. I would like to think so. And I mean, part of me, I think people who like stick with me all offseason and stuff like that, I think that you guys know that like part of me wants Hunter Long to do well so bad just so that Rams fans can like just kind of eat that crow just a little bit, just a little bit of crow, just a touch, man, because like when we ship off a player like Jalen Ramsey, in return you get a Hunter Long who has one career reception. It is a bummer, and it does kind of hit you like, what the heck are we doing out here? And everybody kind of like just jumps on immediately like, oh, we lost the trade. Well, let's see, because Jalen Ramsey isn't playing until December. So what if Hunter Long comes in and is absolutely just crushing some souls out here? Then are we going to say that the Rams lost the trade? Maybe not. I don't know. Probably, but maybe not. I don't know, man. So part of me is really pulling for Hunter Long simply because Rams fans all decided that he was garbage before he even got on a plane to LA. They were like, no, like we don't even want you, man. Get out of here. Like, and I get it. That was your return for Jalen Ramsey, but I think it's got to be considered there. Will we see our potential week one? If our O-line holds up, we should be at least competitive. It's against Seattle, so I think so. Division games, obviously, like we have a lot of guys who have not ever played against the Seahawks. So I think that once the game starts and like a Bobby Wagner comes in and, you know, Steve is trying to block a Bobby Wagner and gets that shoulder or something like that, then kind of like a bit of a wake-up call, like, okay, these are the big boys now. I feel like we'll start slow. But I feel like maybe coming out of halftime, that's when the Rams will be flashing potential, is what we'll say. So I think that it's going to be one of those things where a lot of guys are going to be nervous. A lot of guys are going to be just, getting into the game still. But the Seahawks have a lot of returning guys, a lot of returning coaching staff. So I feel like they'll be kind of more locked in, at least in the beginning of the game, in my opinion. But for the Rams, I think that we have the talent to compete with anybody, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. This team is extremely talented, just raw, just super raw. And so when you consider that, I think that like we're going to see some plays. Maybe Trey Tomlinson gets a pick six or something like that on a play that he just reads real well. Maybe Kobe Turner just absolutely lights up Geno and fumble, stuff like that. Maybe Puka, it just hits a route that no one sees coming and it's just absolutely insane. You know what I mean? So like there's different obviously ways that this could happen, but it's going to be one of those things where at first I feel like we're going to be feeling stuff out, get people in there, get people into the rhythm, get into football again, because obviously first game of the season with the new CBA and the way that we have limited practices, I mean, teams aren't themselves until like week 6 or 7 anyway. And you throw on top of that like 40 rookies for the Rams. And obviously not all of those are going to make the team, but you throw in how many rookies are going to be on this team and how much youth is going to be on this team going into that game. Like we really could not see who we really are until like week 9 or 10. So I think that has to be considered, that the week 1 Rams and the week 18 Rams are going to be two completely different teams, simply because the experience that these guys are going to get over the course of the year will just get them more to be more comfortable as the season goes on. Joseph coming in. Number are with wide receivers. What order do you see them in? So it's a difficult question. Obviously, they're all difficult questions when it comes to what's going on our roster, because we don't really know. I don't even know if they know. You know what I mean? So, but if I had to list them off here, I'm going to say that Cooper Kupp is 1, Van Jefferson's 2, Tutu Atwell is going to be 3, and I'm really excited for him this year. We're getting a lot of evidence that he should be able to take that leap this year. So really excited to see that. Then I'm going to give it to Puka behind that at 4, then Skoranek at 5. Then per camp reports, I was going to go DeMarcus Robinson, but tape that we're in preseason is giving Tyler Johnson vibes. So I'm going to go there, but I also think that both of them could stick around. But I also really like what Xavier Smith is doing, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's the problem. The only ones that I feel confident that are getting cut is like Burmeister and Trammell. That's it. Everybody else, I'm like, I don't. Let's see here. What's up with the new uniforms? Delaying? ? Well, yeah, because we already got the information that we're not releasing them this year. So we don't have new uniforms coming this year, man. So maybe next year. But ultimately, this is what I'm going to say on the uniforms. So let's take a peek around the rest of the league here and see what other teams have done with like pretty obnoxious rebrands. We can call this an obnoxious rebrand. I feel confident with that. So when you look at like the Jaguars, the Buccaneers, the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, I would say the Seahawks, but they held their ground. I don't know. We can't really throw the Cardinals in there yet. Maybe in a couple of years we can. Who else? Who else has done like an obnoxious overhaul? I want to say the Bills did. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking too deep now. But like those teams, for sure. The Jaguars, the Buccaneers, the Titans, those are perfect examples, and the Browns, perfect examples of teams who did a rebranding with their uniforms and stuff like that and went too far, realized they went too far, and then pulled back a little bit. And now they're at where they're at now. We can all agree that those Buccaneers jerseys with like the weird lines and the numbers and stuff like that, absolutely terrible, right? Those were disgusting. And all of a sudden, by the way, sidebar, I'm going to sidebar here real quick. All of a sudden, the creamsicle jerseys are incredible. What? No, those have historically been like one of the worst uniforms in league history. But now, because it's like vintage, it's cool, I don't buy it. All right, those are terrible. And they're so ugly. All right, disgusting. Anyway, not important. I'm not a Bucs fan, so ultimately I don't really care what they wear. But you stretch a little too far with your rebrand and then pull it back. And I would say that that's probably what we're going to see with the Rams. I'm not going to say that we're going to change the horn. I think that the horn stays. I do like the horn, honestly. I know that's not a popular opinion, but whatever. We're all entitled to our own opinions, and opinions inherently cannot be wrong because, well, it's true to you, right? Like you don't like the new horn? That's true then. I do. I think it's awesome. I think our helmets are incredible. But I would say that the gradient on the numbers is probably going to disappear. I would say that the horn on the shoulder is probably going to get an adjustment over the next few years. So I think that all that's going to come into play here over the next couple of years or so. But right now, it is what it is, and I really wish we had a uniform schedule. Actually, that's one thing I'm kind of jonesing for a little bit, mainly because, and this has nothing to do with you, but mainly just this is a Joe problem. This is a first world Sheriff Joe Bags problem. I like to jump ahead on my graphics, and I also like to match my graphics with what the Rams are wearing. And now I have zero idea what we're wearing ever, so I don't know. But to kind of close it up on the uniform conversation, I'll be honest, I kind of like them. I like what we have right now, but a change to get more true to that throwback style, which are, no joke, the best uniform in NFL history. Yes, I'm biased, and yes, I don't care. All right, but that Rams throwback that we wore like in Super Bowl 53 and stuff like that, that is the best uniform. And if we wore that, that would be so crispy. That would be so nice. So we don't have that right now, and that's okay. But I feel like we kind of get closer to that in these next few years with some adjustments. So I don't hate what we have now. Those are obviously the best. But I feel like based on what we know with some other teams in the past, you rebrand, go a little bit too far, and then pull it back a little bit. When I think that's coming. Let's see here. Got those Peo questions in here. Puka gonna be a guy, Peo. Straight up, Puka's gonna be a dude, man. And I know that he is like, obviously the question, it's like everybody's like, well, if he stays healthy, every player. You can say that about anybody on the field. All of them. This is football. It's not just a contact sport. It's a violent sport. All right. People are going to get hurt. That's just the way it is. It sucks. I don't root for injuries. I don't celebrate injuries on any team, not just the Rams, but it happens. It's something you got to deal with. That's why you have backups. If injuries weren't a thing, then then only Matthew Stafford is on the team. Like we don't even have Stetson Bennett or Dresser Wynn or Brett Rippon on the team. Like it's just Matthew Stafford. You know what I mean? So it's a part of the game. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but it does exist. And you can put that little asterisk next to every single player on the team. Steve Avila. Dude, opinions on him. The dude is a brick wall, and I love his energy, man. He's finishing blocks. That one he had, obviously, we all kind of saw the replay. If you're on X, then it's Twitter still. But if you're on that, then like you saw, obviously, everybody was sharing it. The block that he had where Jackson was on that dude, and then he just comes over and just absolutely wrecks his life. You know what I mean? So it's like, first of all, Steve, that man has a family. All right, show some respect, but also screw it, man. That was awesome. And then there was another block that I saw where he's just finishing plays, man. And that's good to see, man. So I'm growing. I never disliked Steve, but as time goes on, I'm liking him more and more and more. So I'm all for it, man. I think he's kind of the perfect rookie for this team this year specifically. And I'll be honest, I think that the Rams offensive line is getting a lot more hate than it deserves right now. I think we have more than 5 starters on this team right now, and that's a good thing. I think I listed it off. There's a blog article, blogicle up on ramshowcase.com right now where I kind of talk about this a little bit, where not too in depth or anything like that, but I did kind of talk about this where I feel like the Rams have 8 guys who are starters in the NFL, 8 offensive linemen who are starters. And let's not get confused with what happened last year where we were signing dudes off the street and then starting them. That's not this team anymore. That's a whole different thing. All right. So we're healthy this year. And if we have all of our guys ready to go, we have more than enough starters. We have 2 centers who are not even playing in preseason, who are both definitely good enough to be starting centers in the NFL. Then we also have obviously our right tackle, Rob Havenstein. The depth behind him, extremely sketchy. I don't trust Logan Bruss at all. I definitely, look at me. All right. This is who I am as a kid. I definitely trust Logan Bruss as far as I could throw him, which is negative amount. No, I couldn't even budge Logan Bruss. All right, look at me. And that's how much I trust him right now. So the depth is definitely sketchy on that side, but we also have other guys that can step in there if we need to. But either way, man, I think that Steve, that's ultimately what I'm getting at here. Steve is a massive addition for this team, and I'm very thrilled that he's a member of the Rams. And I'm stoked that he's going to be a starter because obviously he's going to be able to make an impact right away. He's probably going to be like one of the guys that we look at. We have plenty of options on like who will be the Rams like offensive rookie of the year, because obviously Puka is going to be in that conversation. Davis Allen looks like he might. We'll see. I don't want to overreact to just one preseason game, but if he can do this kind of stuff, and it's not just that he got so many catches and stuff like that. It was the fact that like he's using his body to shield off defenders. So like the way that he was getting the catches, what impressed me the most. And I'm not an analyst guy. I'm not sitting here like breaking down tape for you. I'm more of a storyteller. And all I can say is that when I'm seeing guys play good football, we've seen enough football. We know when people are awesome at this game. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff there. And I will kind of asterisk that with like I did have my questions about like guys like Jacob Harris and Lance McCutcheon, whereas like I didn't really buy into it as much as everybody else. And I know that sometimes I can definitely be one of those people who kind of sticks into my opinions, but I try to be fluid with them. And as I get more information, be willing to adjust. But the Davis Allen thing specifically, I feel like it's not Puka now who's getting that Nelson Spruce preseason treatment. It's actually Davis Allen, but we'll see what happens, man. But I like the way he played for sure. But we have a lot of rookies who are going to be in the conversation for offensive rookie for our offensive rookie of the year, not just like league or anything. Maybe league, but I'm kind of thinking more locally right now, not so globally. Yeah. Where am I at? I think I lost all semblance of where my comments were. I'm going to guess you're saying Keir Thomas here. Keir Thomas make the final cut? I absolutely think so, man. Keir Thomas is a great rusher. Him and Daniel Hardy, I think, are awesome. I think going Byron Young, Keir Thomas, Daniel Hardy, Michael Hoyt, I think that's a strong grouping of edge rushers. Very raw, obviously, with nobody really having that much experience outside. Like Hoyt is the experienced guy, and he just moved outside linebacker last year. You know what I mean? So it is a raw spot, and we're going to see some mistakes in that spot. We're going to see some guys that probably should have set an edge in certain areas that didn't, and we're going to get frustrated and stuff like that. But that's just the way it is, man. But either way, these guys have talent for sure. Keir Thomas, I mean, the dude's got a motor on him, man. And so I'm excited to see him this year, and I do expect that he will make the final roster. Let's see here. Should we sign? Okay. Picture caught me off guard. Not trying to say anything bad about it. Just caught me off guard. That's all. It's the glasses, dude. We should sign a free agent edge or D-line. I'm concerned about our pass rush and run defense. There's no reason to be concerned about the pass rush and run defense at this point in preseason. I would say that being concerned about it, and again, I'm not trying to like trash anybody or anything, because I know as much as you do. We've seen the same games. We've watched the same games. But I also I want to consider the facts that like we don't have our entire defensive line out there. We don't have our captain out there. Like we're not game planning to stop anything specifically. We played against the Raiders, who like love a two-back system and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. It's hard to gauge and take anything from what we've seen in these preseason games as like something that's going to translate directly into the regular season, because I just don't think that that's real. So should we sign a free agent edge or D-line? Maybe. I don't think it would hurt anything, but I also don't think that the need is like, it's not an alarm bell that's ringing in my head. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, if we don't address this is going to be a bad year. We're not going to have fun this year. It's not that kind of situation for me. So I think that ultimately that once you get an Ernest Jones, your captain, in there, you get an Aaron Donald on there, the best defensive player this league's ever seen, stuff like that, in actual game planning, I think that it'll be a different story. You know what I mean? And I mean, we've seen strides from Bobby Brown. We will see guys like Kobe Turner continue to get better over the course of the year. So I think patience is going to be, I think, very important for Rams fans this year, simply because we have so many young guys out here that are just trying their best out here. And like, I don't know, with the inexperience, obviously they're talented, but inexperienced. We just need to give them time to get settled in. And it's not going to happen week one. If we give up 200 rushing yards in week one, we can't just be like, well, we're terrible. Like, it's like, well, yeah, but we can work on it now. Like and as the season goes on, you kind of get better and better, or worse, depending on your team, I guess. But like, you kind of like, if you're the Cardinals, you start strong and then you fall off. yeah, to unnecessary shot at the Cardinals there. I kind of stand by it though. But it's like these guys specifically. It's going to be a different team as the season goes on. More experience that happens with each game. You learn some more things. You get more game tape and stuff like that, and just kind of understanding yourself, understanding your team, understanding your role in the team, and then like you get to play like the Seahawks for a second time, and then the 49ers who we get in week 2, we get to play them for a second time, stuff like that. Kind of just gets, I don't know, man. It's just going to take some time. So should we sign them? If you're looking today, yeah, we probably need some help, but let us get to like week 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'm guessing that we're going to be in a totally different situation. So the 2-2 train is full steam ahead, dude. 2-2, man. It's that's my favorite nickname on the team. I want him to succeed simply on the nickname alone. Obviously, I love giving away nicknames. I love nicknames are awesome. I don't know why in my head yesterday I could not get. It was a Saturday night during the game. I could not get Betson Stennett out of my head. I don't know why. That's so stupid, but it's not even a good nickname, but I could not get it out of my head. Betson Stennett. I just could not stop saying it. And now I hope that I just ruined it for you. I hope that someday soon that you're like somebody's talking about the Rams quarterbacks and you're like, yeah, but Betson Stennett. And you're like, damn you, Joe Bags. I hope that happens so bad. But the 2-2 train is rolling, man. It seems like it's hopefully leaving the station this year and hauling ass. So that's what's in the back of the 2-2 train. It's ass. So it's hauling all of it. I stand by that. Let's see here. Oh yeah. So this one's kind of bummed me out just a little bit. Because Aaron Donald not traveling to Colorado this week, as of course any moment now. Going to add to the Aaron Donald family. So I do know that at least for this week I will remain the strongest person in Colorado since Aaron Donald's not going to be out here. So I'll take that at least. Let's see. Okay. I like the gradients. I don't care. Hell yeah, GP. Stand by your opinions, man. Hell yeah. I love anybody who doesn't just like totally get sucked into to everybody else's opinions. Like, so I'm already with this comment. Actually, we should have kept the yellow and blue collar on the Royal and modern throwback jerseys respectively. I absolutely agree with that. That 100%. I'm with that for sure. The collar I think is a point of contention. A lot of points of contention. Not everybody loves the gradient. Not everybody loves the sleeves. Not everybody loves the collar. Not everybody loves the helmets. What do we love? Can we just agree on something here? Like, I don't know. I feel like we're the most divisive fan base in the world and always have been. But, I mean, it's fine. Gives us great conversations. I don't mind the gradient. I'll say that. And because we're rocking gradients this year, I'm kind of hitting I'm hitting gradient heavy on my graphics for the 23 season. Each year I try to kind of have a vibe for each, like for my graphics and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure maybe you've never really thought about it, but I'm sure like if you think about it a little bit or like look back on my stuff, you can tell like the vibe that I'm going with for each one. Like there's been like smoky years where I really like the smoke aesthetic and stuff like that. Then there's like real blocky years that I like that. But this year I'm going gradient heavy because I do feel like the gradients are on their way out. So I'm going to hit it hard this year. So like I'll do it while it fits in, because if I hit a gradient year where we just go to pretty strict, like solid colors, then what am I doing? Like an idiot. All right. Cooper Kupp catch like that button Joe rocking the stream. Wait, what? Cooper Kupp catch that like button Joe. Oh, I feel like that was worded weird. My brain did not comprehend what the heck you were saying. Yeah, drop likes and stuff, guys. Drop likes, drop dislikes. Just be true to yourself. If you do like it, definitely like it. Don't like it, then don't like it. Let's see here. I just need to do something for work really fast, actually. I'm still here. I'm just I need to share something for work. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. This is good content, right? Watch Sheriff Joe Bags do his job. Let's see. I have like weird scheduled tweets. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna elaborate. You know what? Deal with it. Anyway, yeah, drop likes and stuff like that, or dislikes. If you dislike it, be true to yourself. All right, dislike it. All right. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care either way, and neither does YouTube. Actually, it just cares about engagement. So for the sake of engagements, do it. Let's see here. GP. I feel like you've been gone for a little bit, man. Or maybe my timing of my streams have not been, or maybe I'm misremembering stuff. But either way, welcome back, Tom. Let's see. How do we feel about the first 5 weeks as trial by fire for this young team? I absolutely love it, man. Because first of all, like, I feel pretty confident that we're going to have like some weird games this year where we're like winning some games that we probably shouldn't, and maybe losing some games that we probably shouldn't. But I think in these first few, I think that we'll see some fireworks for sure. And I mean, who knows, man? What if like a Seattle team comes in a little cocky? What if they come in thinking that they're like the cat's pajamas because of how they were last year, and they're looking at this Rams team like, we got Bobby Wagner back. They're super young. All these guys were hurt last year. We're going to beat them up. And then we come in and just like Trey Tomlinson is just absolutely smoking fools. And then like, yeah, what if, dude? I don't know. So I like it, though. I like that we get to – I feel like in the first 5 weeks, like you're saying, the trial by fire, I feel like in the first 5 weeks we'll be like, all right, this guy's awesome. This guy maybe is not as good as we thought he was, or like stuff like that. And that's going to happen. That is going to happen. We're going to see some guys that are just not up to what we thought that they were going to be. We don't know who that is yet. Is it like a Byron Young? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to try to put that evil on him or anything like that, but it's a possibility. Any of these guys could be just a little bit more of a bummer than we initially thought, like a Logan Bruss, who I'll be honest, I'm a little frustrated with right there, but like, not in like a bad way. I don't want him to like be cut or anything like that, although would not hurt my feelings. So far what we've seen from Logan Bruss, and I definitely don't want to just talk trash about one of our guys, right? But it's very unfortunate how his career's unfolded so far. So last year, preseason, week 1, he's getting absolutely lit up. Week 2, he goes knee to knee with somebody, ACL, MCL, out for the year, bad news, right? Preseason 1 this year. So we're playing against the Chargers. He's playing right tackle now, which is more of his home spot, right? So that was like his home spot or whatever like that. And so, but either way, he's getting eaten up. Absolutely getting smoked on that right side. And then this week he gets hurt. And the injury was lame. It was lame, but also it just feels like he's just not strong enough. And I don't know how to say that without sounding rude, but it's like he's not quite there. So I don't know, man. So oh yeah, there is preseason on right now. Let me actually I don't need to worry about that. I'm gonna get distracted. I was gonna like sign into I signed up for NFL Plus. I had to do it because I wanted to watch the Rams game. So I have that now. I watched the Super Bowl today. That was cool. I watched the one against the Titans. I watched that before this started. I like timed it out perfectly to where like that ended and then I started the stream. So I'm feeling pretty good actually. But the Super Bowl 53 is on there as well. But I'll be honest, I've only watched that once. That's the one Rams game in the last like 5-6 years that I've only watched one time, and it was only live. I've never watched replays. I never went back to. It was like, nope, flush, get it out of here. I don't want anything to do with that game. So, but yeah, I signed up for that. So I did that. We'll see what happens as far as how long I keep it and how much I care about it. The red zone part, that's what got me actually. So being able to watch the Rams play the Raiders in this preseason game, and also red zone. I love red zone. And that honestly, it's making me consider maybe I don't do my pregame live streams because I maybe want to watch. Maybe I want to be watching football. I love football, dude. Could you tell? I don't know if you could tell. But yeah, is anybody watching the game? I don't know what we're dealing with here. I don't even know who's. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to preseason games, I kind of just go into Rams tunnel vision mode here. Oh, so we got the Commanders and the Ravens. Commanders, dude, might change their name? Like, what? Back, by the way? Like, what the heck? If that happens, man, that's going to be wild. You feel like I was ignoring you? I'm sorry. I don't mean to ignore anybody, all right? Sometimes when I get guests on, I try to avoid too many comments. But, no, I'm not trying to ignore you, man. I'm sorry. My bad. Feel free to hop on if you want to. Then I definitely can't ignore you if you're in my face. Because I'm so bad with interacting outside of my presence. Does that make any sense? Like, I'm so bad at responding to texts and like notifications on social media and like all that stuff. Right now, let's see. Right now, I have 55 unread text messages, which is actually pretty low considering what it's normally at. So I have 55 unread text messages right now. And yes, that's like my dad and like my sister and stuff like that. So there's a lot of bad responses from me. But what I like to tell people is because like people will tell me in person, they'll be like, dude, I can never get a response from you. It's like, yeah, but have you seen me on my phone since we've been hanging out? Like, no, I'm very present. So I tried for a really long time to be very active in that of like just being present. I don't need to be in my phone because it bothers me so much when I'm like trying to talk to somebody and their faces and their phones. Like, dude, I'm a real live person in front of you. What are you doing? What are you doing? I exist in front of you, and you're talking with ones and zeros right now, dude. So yeah, I don't know. If any of that makes sense. From now on, the first player we draft can't have a name that rhymes with bust. That's fair, actually, because literally, calling him Logan Bust makes so much sense, and I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it because could you imagine how sick it would be if he was just super dope and then Steve comes in and is also sick, and then we just like one at a time we're just adding like super sick players to this offensive line, and it didn't happen. Mad about it, man. Puka, dude, I'm so pumped for these chants. SoFi is gonna get overrun by Puka. I'm super pumped. Big on Puka too, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be some good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, why is everybody sleeping on us? You know what? I don't mind it. I'll be honest. It doesn't bother me when people are like kind of talking like the Rams aren't going to be very good or whatever like that, because it's for us to do. You know what I mean? Like, and also we won 5 games last year, and also we paid more attention than they do. That's all. It's like when, like, you got to think about it that way. Mainly is because when we're seeing everything that this team's doing, everything, right? We're hearing in July press conference from Sean McVay, it's like, oh, yo, Demarcus Robinson, though, he's playing really well. Like, we got camp going on, but he's showing some bright spots here. Bobby Brown looking good. Like, we're hearing this kind of stuff. Nobody else is listening to that. How many other opposing teams have you watched press conferences for throughout training camp and preseason? If the answer is 0, you're not alone, because I'm in there too. I'm not paying attention to these other teams. I don't know what the heck the 49ers are up to right now. I think it's a little bit weird how many Rams people are talking about the 49ers so much and making like it's a big topic right now, talking about the 49ers quarterback situation. I think it's a mess, but I'm not going to sit here and try to defend anybody over there because, well, they're our greatest rival, right? I ain't defending nothing that the 49ers do. As far as I'm concerned, they all suck. All of them. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love if George Kittle was a Ram. But that's it. That's all. That's the best I'm going to say about anybody. That's the most positive I will get. Screw them. I want to make – I still want to put like – I want to be able to put videos on T-shirts because I would do like Nick Scott absolutely just wrecking Debo's life and Aaron Donald throwing Jimmy to the ground, or Traven Howard getting the pick. Either way, take a pick, really. Or Cooper Kupp, dude, yelling into the sky, dude. All of them. I want to do all that. But I completely lost where I started on that train of thought. So back to square one. Oh, yeah, they were sleeping on us. I don't know how I got there. Anyway, what up, Dominic? Oh, man. I don't understand my own brain. So, like, I realized that sometimes my stuff can be hard to follow. Think about what it's like in here, all right? This is chaos. Chaos. Madness is going on in here. It's like that scene. I know. It's like a scene in SpongeBob, though, right? They're all in the files. They're going through. They're all working. That's all I see in here now. Ever since I saw that episode, that's all it's here. Is that there's a bunch of little Joes in an office building in their cubicles, and they all have their departments. Anyway, none of that means anything. If we don't get this defensive line fixed, we're not going to be good all this season. Inked Gains. Your profile picture and your name go hand in hand. Very well done. But what I'll say there is something that I've said before even on this stream here is that we're not in a position to really properly judge it at this point in time, simply because it's preseason. Where's the banner? It's preseason. This is coming so in handy. It's preseason. These games don't count. There's no game plans happening. What I will say, our two best defensive players are not playing in these games, and they're both in the front seven, and that is Ernest Jones and Aaron Donald. So that has to be considered as well. We're not game planning to stop the run. We're going against teams who are trying to also figure out their run game and their offensive lines and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's proper to. I don't think it's appropriate to judge our defensive line and our run defense based on what we've seen so far in preseason. Just because I don't think it's realistic to, because of what I've already said. That we don't have some of our best guys playing. We're not game planning. We're seeing throwing Kobe Turner out there. He's never seen an NFL field except for outside of these 2 preseason games. You know what I mean? Give him time, man. So I don't know. I'm not totally with it yet to say that we're just going to be terrible based on what we've seen so far. I just think that the evidence isn't really there yet. The evidence is there when you're considering, because let's Jake Hummel, perfect example here. So Jake Hummel had his pick 6. I don't want people to overreact on the pick 6. What's going on here? Oh, that's just a 6 sunbeam. All right. I thought something crazy was happening. I was getting laser attacked. Okay. Back on track. All right. But Jake Hummel, perfect example. So I feel like people are going to overreact to the pick 6 because ultimately he had a pretty rough day, right? That play was awesome. Credit where credit's due. But other than that, pretty rough day for Jake Hummel. Bad angles, missed tackles, stuff like that. So people, I feel like, see Jake Hummel hit a bad angle and miss a tackle, and they're like, see, our run defense is going to be terrible. Well, I got news for you, man. Jake Hummel not going to be playing football. He's not going to be out there. So it's a whole different thing, right? Consider stuff like when Nick Hampton is getting absolutely eaten up by blocks. Doesn't count. He's not going to be out there. It doesn't matter. Those things, Jake Hummel taking a bad angle, Nick Hampton getting eaten up by a block, and lower level defensive line guys that are not going to be around here come week 1, them playing poorly against the run is not an indication of how the Rams will play come regular season, because they're not going to be here. They're not going to be playing football for us. So that obviously has to be considered when we're talking about these preseason games. And I love being the underdog, dude. Same. Love being the underdog. I love going into each game being like, well, we'll see. It's like, if it goes well, because let's keep in mind that can happen. And I know I use this example a lot, but being a Rams fan that's from Colorado, this game is very near and dear to my heart. But the 2014 Denver Broncos at St. Louis Rams, the Peyton Manning-led Denver Broncos are coming in just on an absolute tear. They're kicking everybody's butt cheeks. And the Rams have Sean Hill at quarterback in a rough season. Okay, just like we're not playing awesome. All right, we got Kenny Britt as our top guy. Kenny Britt, Brian Quick, both of them. I used both of their names in my fantasy football team. Too legit to Britt and too legit to Quick. Not to be not to be playing favorites, but that game, obviously, the Rams came out and won. They did awesome. It was like an effort thing. I mean, Rodney McLeod was out there trying to murder dudes, but other than that, man, I mean, it was just a great day from the Rams and kind of a bummer day from the Broncos. So anything can happen, but the underdog story of going in and being like, well, hey, man, we can do this. We can do it. And then it working, that there's no better feeling than that. You know what I mean? So Tyler Johnson, how do you feel? Slots? You probably didn't say it like that, but I'm liking Tyler Johnson, man. I think he's doing a good job. It's unfortunate because either whether he makes his team or not, I don't anticipate that we see him that much. So I just think that the Kupp, Jefferson, Tutu, Puka, and Sko, I think he's below all that right now. Maybe not Sko. I don't know. I don't know what everybody's vibe is on Sko, the Sko plow, but that's only when he's a fullback. Otherwise, he's Ben Skowronek. Very proper. Or just Benny Sko, I guess. But I think that Tyler Johnson he's playing well in these preseason games. It's kind of interesting how Demarcus Robinson is getting all of the attention in the actual like training camp practices, but then come game day, Tyler Johnson's the one. So I think it's kind of interesting, man. But I like them both a lot. So I'm not going to be mad if either of them stay. Although I have a hard time thinking, like trying to wrap my brain around how many wide receivers the Rams are going to keep, considering we have questions at tight end, we have questions at running back, and how many do we keep? I like all 5 of our running backs. I like at tight end, I like Higbee, I like Hopkins, I like I want to like Hunt Long. I mean Hunter Long, and then I also Davis Allen, dude, he was flashing, man. He was doing some cool things out here. So there's a lot of guys that I like right now. And none of them where I'm like, if this guy plays, he's going to the Hall of Fame. But it's like guys, it's like I'm excited to see what he can do. That's where I'm at. So Tyler Johnson's definitely one of them where I would like to see him out there, man. But I would guess that this game against the Broncos on Saturday is probably going to be the last time that we see significant playing time from Tyler Johnson. Although I do think he makes the team. So I don't know, man. This is going to be a tough one, man. But yeah, by the way, anybody who's going to be in Denver, hit me up, dude. I'm so pumped. I'm going to be up there about noon, I think, for the game. So hyped for Tomlinson, Puka, Avila, Davis Allen. It's hilarious. He's rocking 87. I think we killed the draft, dude. Wait, first of all, why? And second of all, yeah, dude, I think we had an awesome draft class coming in. There's a couple guys that I'm still having trouble with, but I've kind of had that initially, and I guess my mind just hasn't been changed yet. And that's Nick Hampton, O'Shawn Mathis. Those are 2 guys that I'm kind of like still not, I don't know. I'm not in on yet. I'm not out on, but I'm still like, I'm dead center. I'm ready to be knocked clean off the fence, but I just don't know which side it's going to happen yet. Like if Nick Hampton keeps just getting absolutely eaten up by blocks and just not making any impact as far as the pass rush goes, I am going to lean to one side on that. But hopefully we can see that change this week. I know that the Broncos offensive line is pretty bad. Even their depth is rough, and their starters are not very good. So that has to be considered too. When we go into this game, we'll probably see some pretty good pass rush from this team this week, which is good, but that also has to be considered. So, but yeah, man, this draft class is awesome. But why do you think it's hilarious if like that Davis Allen's wearing 87? Very confused by that comment. I am working on a list, by the way. I think I bit off a lot more than I could chew with a list of going 0 to 99 of listing off the best player to wear each number in Rams history. And it's only considering their time with the Rams. I've made it through 50, and it's taken me a long time so far. So I still got a lot of way to go. But like quick, off the top of your head, name the best 48 in Rams history. There's research involved, all right? There's a lot of stuff you got to think about when it comes to this. And I did take some liberties. But that list will come out as soon as I can get it out. It's just not done yet. But I got 0 through 50 already in, locked and loaded. 51 to 99, we're on the way. If I didn't put 99, how many people do you think would hate me if it wasn't Aaron Donald? Got to troll the 49ers. We got to. They're the most trollable team in the league right now, dude. Well, them and the Cardinals. Whole D-line play better once the AD is playing. Yes, that has to be very much like I think at the forefront of consideration here. That we don't have all of our guys out there. Like, it's a different ball game when Aaron Donald's out there. You're a different defense. We know that. Remember the last time we lost all the preseason games and won the Super Bowl? You're absolutely right. I used to have the example, because now that we have our own, with the Rams losing all their preseason games and then going on to win the Super Bowl, I used to use the example that the year that the Lions went 0-16, they went 4-0 in preseason, and also the year that the Patriots went undefeated in their regular season, they were 0-4 in the preseason. So it's like the scores of these games is not what we're looking at here. We're looking like very much each individual play is its own thing, and that's what we're looking at. It's like Bobby Brown eating up a running back in the backfield. That's all that exists in a vacuum. Like that's its own thing entirely. Trey Tomlinson defending that pass to the deep left. like that exists in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Like that play was like, okay, he can do that. We saw him do that because he was also doing that last week against the Chargers. So that's good stuff. But each thing kind of just exists in its own world, and there's certain things that we're looking for here. Like there was plays, there was a touchdown pass. What was it? Yeah, it was on the first preseason game against the Chargers on Stetson Bennett's touchdown pass to Puka Nacua. We can agree that was a good play, right? It ended in a touchdown. It ended with points on the board. Logan Bruss got absolutely smoked on it. So good play, bad play. Like bad play here, good play overall. So it's like there's so many different moving pieces to a preseason game that you got to consider. Like even though you can say like, hey, Logan Bruss was on the field for that touchdown, it's like, yeah, but he got smoked. Like he was not the reason for it though. And if Puka didn't get open right then, he probably just cost a sack. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of different moving pieces into it. And you got to look at like individual efforts is what we're looking at here. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of moving pieces. Also like Keir Thomas, it's Keir, Keir Thomas. But yeah, dude, I'm becoming more and more of a fan of Keir Thomas. Him and Daniel Hardy both, I really like. I like Daniel Hardy though. I liked him coming out of college, and then so obviously he's dealt with a lot of stuff when it comes to injuries. That's unfortunate because that can just 100% derail a guy's career, even if they're talented and good enough to play in this league. We've seen that plenty of times, like a Sam Bradford. I mean, I know somebody just rolled their eyes, maybe all of you did, but it's like the Sam Bradford where like that rookie year he was playing great, and then injuries just like derailed his career. So like you can see that happen from time to time where really good players just kind of get screwed over by injuries. It happens. What other examples do we have for Rams? I'm sure we have plenty. Denario Alexander is a good example of that, of guy who's got all the talent but just can't stay out there. So far, man, I'm trying to think of other ones now. Cooper Kupp is almost in that conversation, like because he's had one healthy season. He was a Triple Crown Super Bowl MVP year. He was like the best season a wide receivers ever had in this league. But ultimately, he's had trouble staying out there. So it hasn't derailed his career, obviously. But oh, and then yeah, what about Demarcus? Yeah, I was going to mention him. I did see your comment come in here, but yeah, man, it's yeah, I like our wide receivers right now. We have some tough decisions to make, and I got to be honest, I don't envy the coaches for needing to make these decisions. When you look at the wide receiver room, the running back room, the tight end room, just those three, there are guys that are going to be cut that we all, or at least a good percentage of us, would rather keep. Just the way it's going to be. I really, really like Ronnie Rivers. And if the Rams are going to keep three, I would like to see Ronnie Rivers make this team. But does that means you lose Zach Evans? It means you lose Royce Freeman? I mean, it's tough. We're going to see guys get cut that we want to keep and that we probably should keep and that should make this team. But that's also, like I was talking with Edwin, that's better to cut good players than to have to keep bad players because you have no other choice. So that's a good thing technically, right? Because Kelsey wears 87. Oh, okay. Wow, I saw it asked when Kelsey was traded to the Rams. Dude, if he can play like Kelsey, man, I ain't mad about it one bit. That he can emulate that whole career, bro. Dude's good. How do you feel about our field goal kicking? I'm a little nervous about it, but also I'm trying to kind of take it in stride a little bit because the entire mechanism is brand new. The entire thing from top to bottom. So when you consider having a rookie long snapper, rookie punter holder who is also holding for the first time in his career, and a rookie kicker, I mean, obviously you're going to see some things that just like the timing is going to need to grow. Like it's not Jake McQuaid snapping to Johnny Hecker with a kick from Greg Zuerlein, which we had that combo for years and they had their timing down. We never heard Jake McQuaid's name, which is exactly what you want from your long snapper. That whole mechanism was a science. They probably could have done it blindfolded. You know what I mean? Like they had their rhythm down. So these guys don't have that yet, but it will come in time, I'm assuming. But you also got to consider that when a field goal is missed, it may not just be the kicker's fault. It's possible that it is the kicker's fault, but it could have been a bad hold. Maybe the spot was like where he put the ball down is not right. And the margin of error, you got to consider, like when you're kicking like a 55-yard field goal, the window to get that kick out is like this wide. So if you put that ball down and it's a little bit off of that spot that you had your finger on or something like that, that could absolutely be a missed field goal. That's absolutely a real thing. The snap comes in a little high, a little low, something like that. And you got to make that adjustment, and you try to do it too quick or something like that. That kind of stuff all plays in. The field goal mechanism from long snapper to hold to kick is a very much a timing based, very specific thing that you're doing here. And any deviation from that, even just 1 inch, that ball gets one inch away from the spot of where you want it to be, where that kicker wanted it to be, it could be a very bad miss. So that kind of stuff has to be considered. And I don't immediately just toss the kicker under the bus when a field goal is missed, because it may not have been his fault. And the only reason that I kind of say that stuff too is just hearing from kickers and hearing like things that like different guys say, or like, you know, I don't know, just listening to NFL guys that say like it's all like, I think Hecker mentioned one of them one time that there was a Greg Zuerlein missed kick, and he was like, that was actually me. Like I want to say that was Hecker. Maybe it was even a different team. It's a while ago, but yeah, like we've seen holders be like, that one was on me. I didn't get a dime or it was a weird spot. So I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, by the way, what up, dude? What up? I'm just kidding. I doubt it. I doubt that he comes to the Rams, but how sick would that be? That dude's so good. Forgot to mention his special team scares me. Also, the backling scares me. Punter is amazing. Inked Gains, if you want to hop on, dude. So I feel like we had some good conversation here based on your comments. I feel like we could get into some nice like friendly debate here, maybe. Because I'm almost disagreeing with everything you're saying. Not in a bad way. Not trying to be a jerk. All right. That's a good thing to be able to have the conversation. So if you would like to join, man, a comment is in the. I just put a comment in a join link. Feel free. If not, no worries, man. But to kind of bring it in. So the special teams does scare me, but like I was just saying, it is a rookie mechanism, and I would expect that the kicking and all that stuff will kind of get nailed down in some time. As far as the punter goes, he's got a crazy strong leg, dude. Crazy strong leg. But he's got to stop out kicking his coverage. It is bad. These NFL guys that are returners, they're way too shifty, way too fast to be giving them like 15, 20 yards of space before your guys could get there. So yes, he's very impressive, very impressive. It's a very strong leg and all that stuff, but you got to get your guys to get down there. Even if that means reining it in a little bit so that you can cause some fair catches, because like, yeah, the kicks are going far as hell, but then we're getting like 20, 25 yard returns. So I'm kind of torn on it right now. And it's like, well, it's preseason. Just let them boot the hell out of it. I get it. We're not really strategizing right now to say like, all right, let's put him here or let's do this here. Like it. So that kind of stuff, he's very impressive, but he is making me nervous. That's all I'm saying. So perfect, man. Take your time. Hang out for a bit. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of when it comes to our punter right now. It's like, yeah, he's got a crazy awesome leg, man. He looks like he hates footballs, dude. Like he looks like he's angry with footballs, but at the same time, you got to give your coverage time to get down there, because again, these guys are too fast, too shifty, too quick to give them 20 yards of space. I mean, that's why we gave up a punt touchdown against the Chargers. That dude is shifty, and he was drafted to be a punt returner, and we gave him like 15 yards. So of course he's going to have a sick return. Like that's just the way that goes. The tackling, you got to help your guys out. You got to give them time to get down there. And maybe I'm alone here. Maybe I'm alone in my thoughts on Evans, Ethan Evans, the punter, and just needing to just rein it in a little bit. But I will say this too, that we have a sweet opportunity to see him maybe just kick a ball outside of a stadium in Denver this week. It's like maybe I'll catch a punt in the stands. I'm in the 100s though, so maybe I'm too close. Like I wouldn't even be that impressive actually. So like if he can kick the ball and hit I-25, I don't think it's unreasonable. He's about to shatter the roof at SoFi one of these days, dude. He's about to take down the Oculus, bro. But yeah, it's he's got a crazy good leg. But I kind of point back to the Johnny Hekker of it all with like the way he was able to manipulate his punts. And he had, I think he said something like 6 or 7 different punts in his arsenal, where he would put different spins on them, different stuff like that, different bounces that he wanted to hit. all that stuff, those knuckleballs and all that stuff, that on purpose to make it harder to catch, maybe increase the hang time a little bit, or the corner punts, and have, he wanted them to hit the field and then go out of bounds and stuff like that. Like, he had a strategy to him. And so far, all we've seen from Ethan Evans is just he's got a hell of a leg, and that's not bad. He's got an absolute cannon attached to his torso, man, to his hips. But that's you just gotta consider that. What do you make of Yeast not playing? Dang, did he not play in that one? This Raiders game was frustrating almost. Like, I feel like I wanted more out of this game, and it felt kind of slow, felt kind of I guess sluggish in a way. But I rewatched it today, and I felt the same exact way. I left the game being like, yeah, I want more. Like, I don't know, it just didn't. I don't feel like we got to see everything that we wanted to see, and I'm still bummed out that we don't have 4 preseason games. I know that's like, we want to get into the action and stuff like that, but I kind of live for all parts of the NFL season. I love it all. I kind of I haven't really said it in a while, but I am known for saying, like, there is no off season, just a time when games aren't being played, because I'm in it, man. Like, I'm in it all year. This is my living room right now. That room's decked out. My car's decked out. I'm decked out. I was kidding. My guitar. Oh, I haven't finished it yet. I'll show you next time when I finish putting it together. But yes, my guitar is decked out. I guess it doesn't hurt. I'll show you. So, okay. Precursor here. This is not the right color blue, and that's why I'm covering it up entirely. I was going to try to paint it, and then I have not been able to, but so far, it's kind of what I'm rocking with right now. Nothing crazy, and I'm just being obnoxious, right? It doesn't actually look good. Not yet, and I've been met with some pretty intense regret with it. But what can you do, all right? So, all right, man, we actually have a guest coming in right now, and yeah, true to his name, very much appropriate name from what I can tell. I actually don't know much about this guy, so we're about to find out, dude. Inked Gains, what is up, dude?
Hey, man, how are you? So, I do want to say I'm not a negative person. I'm a Rams fan from St. Louis originally, and I stayed with them even when they moved to LA.
Nice.
So I don't want you to think I'm negative on them.
No, not at all. Yeah, and I'm definitely not trying to just like take everything you say and be like, nope.
No, you're good.
Good.
And I do agree with you. Like, after you said the defensive line, I did say, okay, he's got a point. You know, it is second string or third string. But I guess what I was thinking is, I just fear, can we rely on Aaron Donald for everything? You know, let's say he gets hurt, we're screwed, you know? And so I think I'm angry that we let Greg Gaines go, you know, those kind of people. And so when I watch the Rams play in preseason, they're trying to really win a spot. I just don't see any fire or passion in that second or third string. So it's probably just more frustration. Like,
Well, we lost you. Maybe he'll be back in a second. Oh,
sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
Someone's calling me.
Oh, cool. He's getting lit up right now. You better take this call, man. You better.
Hey, let me answer this.
You better take this call, man. It seems important. All right. This would have been awesome, by the way, if this was Greg Gaines, but he probably beat up Greg Gaines. The looks at him, man. So I think he's taking a phone call right now. So I'm gonna bring him down. I can see his box down here, so I'll keep my eyes on that. But yeah, he's kind of got a good point with that that like Aaron Donald part, where like it's very possible that if Aaron Donald goes down, we just don't have the guys that can kind of keep it going. Okay, we're back here. So, but I like your point there, man. Yeah, you're right. If Aaron Donald is a guy who, oh, you're good, man. If Aaron Donald goes down, yeah, who do we have? But what I would say, I really liked what I saw from Greg Gaines, man. Or not, of course, I'm getting confused.
That's my fault.
Yeah, my brain. But I really liked what we saw from Bobby Brown yesterday or 2 days ago against the Raiders. Did you have any thoughts on him?
No, yeah, I like that. I think he had a tackle in the backfield on a running back. I think I remember that play. I like that a lot. I think there's some guys on there I do like. I agree with you. Hummel did one really good play, and I think we're stuck on that.
Yeah.
But and this kind of goes into that other thing I was telling you about the punting. I just see too many missed tackling. And I guess why it frustrates me is, the other two teams we've faced so far, their tackling wasn't like that. I know we're playing third string and second string, but, I didn't look at the depth chart, but I'm sure some of our first string punt returners are on there, right? Or am I completely wrong on that? Or punt defense.
So for we don't really know actually because it's so chaotic right now. And I would guess guys like DeAndre Square, stuff like that, because they have played well in on special teams that they could find a way into that. But as far as the gunners go, I'm pretty sure that's still kind of up for grabs. The entire special teams is kind of a toss-up right now.
Yeah.
We don't actually have any answers here.
So I won't lie to you. They do scare me. I know it's still preseason, so I get that. But the other part of that I really thought about when I made that comment was we have that new coordinator, the new special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out a little bit. Now, again, this is just preseason, so I'm not going to overreact. But just seeing some of those just basic tackle misses just kind of bothered me, I guess I don't like seeing my team get ran over like that. That's probably what it really is.
Yeah, it is frustrating. And I still kind of point to the fact that Ethan Evans, he's got an incredible leg, man. And he's impressive for sure. But when you're giving your returners 20 yards of space, I mean, these guys are too quick, man. They're too fast. They're too shifty to give them that kind of space and then hope that you're backup linebackers.
I agree.
I still think it's unfair. I think it's unfair. I think that you're kind of setting them up to fail when you boot it that far. He's got to find a way to rein that in, I think, a little bit.
And then I'm going to give you one hot take before I get out of here.
Yeah.
I love Stetson Bennett, but I think we're overly hyped on him right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think just because he's this young gun, everyone's like, oh, he's God. I like what he's doing, but he's got so much work left that I've seen almost 4 interceptions from him. So I like him, but I think we're way overhyping this guy.
Yeah, we certainly are, and it's one of those things where it's you get a flashy new toy, and you're just I got to show this thing off,
exactly.
Right? So it's we're just excited. I think Rams fans, you're seeing anybody else behind center, it's what happens, man.
Right.
And I'm still on the train. I wish we would have just kept Baker Mayfield as QB too. I'll be honest.
I agree.
I thought his energy was fun, stuff like that, and he doesn't need to be a starter anywhere. Him backing up Stafford would have made perfect sense. But Stetson Bennett coming in, man, I agree with you right now that he is extremely raw and he is taking some chances. But I would also argue that on the same set, and I don't know how long you've been hanging out here, but we kind of talked about it earlier of these are the games to let it
I agree.
Go and just try to hit that hole that you probably can't,
I
and
agree.
Let it rip. And him not throwing the ball away, that is something that I think it obviously just comes up in the film room. And so when he's trying to force a pass into the end zone and almost gets picked off when he could have easily just thrown it away, that's one thing. It's yeah, you'd like to see him throw it away there, but also these games don't count. And we're not going to remember these games or talk about these games. And even 2 weeks from now, we're not even going to care about that. So
right.
I think, let it loose, man. Let it rip. And I'm excited to see if he hopefully – that's what I was going to say there is hopefully we don't even see him in the regular season.
I agree with you there, man.
Yeah. So,
but hey, I enjoy your show. I'm a fan of the Rams, so you got my vote, man.
Dude, hell yeah, man. Thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good night.
You as well, man. True to the name of Inked Gains. I bet I could beat him up, though. I'm going to say that as soon as he leaves. Anyway. We'll kind of start wrapping up here pretty quick unless anybody else wants to kind of hop in or ask any questions. We'll drop this again, or if anybody has any topics they'd like to kind of cover. The ones that I had kind of in my notes here, Logan Bruss may have sealed his fate 2 preseasons back-to-back that the same exact thing happened. 1 preseason game where he's getting smoked. 2nd preseason game he gets hurt. And then, had Davis Allen, Bobby Brown. How many running backs do we keep? And also, it's Denver week, guys. It's Denver week. And also, this week, I will let you know this. This week is absolute bananas for me. So I am going to try to get the podcast out as soon as possible, simply because this week of work and stuff is going to be nuts. So let me throw a poll into the YouTube channel real quick. All right, so I have too many computers. Compute eye over here. We'll go there. We'll go there. And we'll go here. So I'm going to ask this question right now into the YouTube comment section. So feel free to vote. There's no wrong answers here because, well, we don't know the answers to that. So I'm sorry. This question kind of caught me by surprise here. Are the Chargers the new favorite team in LA? What do you think, Zathan? That is the most Gen Z name I've ever heard in my life, and I'm not trying to talk trash. I'm so sorry. I think about how weird names have gotten, and it always like it throws me off that like someday we're gonna get like the president of the U.S. is gonna be like we're gonna have like a President Braxton, and it's weird. All right, Zathan, that's so funny to me, dude, and I'm not trying to be mean at all. Not one bit. It's awesome. It's funny in like a cool way. It's so funny to me. Anyway, but yeah, what do you think? What does anybody else think? Do you think that the Chargers are the new favorite team in LA? Because I don't. I really don't. And I'm not just being like, I'm Rams fan. We're the best. No one's better than us. Like, I'm not trying to be like that. But also, it's like, I mean, no. Like, I look at every professional league that has the two teams. There's a clear-cut leader and a little brother. And let's not pretend like the Chargers aren't the little brother here. SoFi has ran through the Chargers. That makes no sense, Zathan. No, it's that I kind of stand by that. It's like there's a little brother of every league. It's like we know that like the Dodgers, we know that what other sports exist? What other we know like the Dodgers are obviously like the champion over the Angels. We know that the Lakers are clearly like the favorite over the Clippers. We can go to hockey. I'll count Anaheim in there as well. Like we know that the Kings run that instead of the Ducks. Like we know that the Rams are the ones and the Chargers are the little brother. Like we just know that. I'm not trying to talk trash about the Chargers. I've got respect for every NFL team, most NFL teams, but yeah, maybe Zathan. I'm gonna pull this up just to look at this photo a little larger. So that's a Patrick Mahomes graphic with the name Zathan. All right. That's all. That's all I've got. I don't know what to think. No, Zathan. Somebody call the doctor because Zathan has swallowed his vocal cords and is now speaking out of his head. Sorry. I don't mean to be a jerk. Zathan, hop on. Here. Here's a join link, man. Click this link, man, and hop on with me. Let's have a conversation, dude. We can talk about it. I'm not trying to like trap you or anything like that or like get you. I just want to have a conversation. I want to know a little bit more from your perspective. You're saying that that the Chargers claimed SoFi when Mike Williams death stared Sean McVay after a one-handed catch on the sideline. I don't feel like that's real. Because also, look at something that Sean McVay has done in SoFi Stadium, and that is hold a Lombardi trophy, something that the Chargers have never once done. And ours was in SoFi. I think that alone there is like, yeah, this is us. Like we are the LA team. Not only are we the first LA team, but also it's our stadium. It exists because of us. It wouldn't even be there if the Chargers and the Raiders decided to team up or anything like that. So the Chargers also only pay $1 a year. So to have any try to have any claim in that, I think is hilarious. Let's not pretend like they aren't just the San Diego Chargers, right? Like, it's like how when – no, we don't need to talk about it. You're on the clock. Okay, fair enough. One of these days, though, man. One of these days. Thank you for being here, though. Appreciate that. GP says, I live in LA. The Rams easy. The Raiders are second. Not saying the Chargers don't have fans. But yeah, man, it's I think that having anybody say that LA is like the Chargers and SoFi is the Chargers, I think it's like it feels disconnected. I'll be honest. I'm trying to say words that are not like blatantly. Hold on, let me turn another light on real fast. Getting a little dark over here. All right, so Chargers have a couple of fans. My dad is a big Chargers fan. My dad's one of them. So yeah, we kind of have some fun. We have some good like back and forths and stuff like that. Me and my dad do with the whole LA stuff. We went to the he joined me for the first ever I guess I joined him more. We went to the first game that SoFi was open to fans, that preseason game where what was it? Bryce Perkins, Hercules, where he had that hurdle. Yeah, we were at that game. That was fun, man. It's good times. But yeah, to like even that one specifically, because like I know that was like sold as like a big like LA versus LA. It was Rams fans there. We'll see what happens. I know that even when the Chargers and Rams played this last year, looking at the crowd, I think that would be the best indicator, right? Would be not necessarily that the Chargers, since both teams have been playing in SoFi Stadium, the Chargers are up 1-0 on the Rams. I don't think that's I guess you can throw that in, but I don't know how much worth that really has because it was in a season for the Rams that we're kind of just throwing away. Like the Rams got so beat up last year that it's like, yeah, we lost. Like, yeah, it does count. It is on the record. You know what I mean? But it's like we had Baker Mayfield starting at quarterback at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like we had 4 starting quarterbacks. Our offensive line was historically beat up. And I don't say that to be funny. Like it's like a very real thing. More offensive line combinations than have ever been seen in the NFL we had last year. So it's like stuff like that. I don't know, man. But yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I was going at. Edwin's comment kind of reminded me here that yeah, when the Rams were the road team against the Chargers last year, it was pretty blown out by Rams fans. And I think that would be the most realistic indicator on who runs LA. You can't go about the fans, or you got to say 49ers on SoFi. I mean, well, you're adding in variables now. Now you're adding in different cities. Like, I mean, is it an LA thing? Because no, the 49ers clearly don't run LA. They're not an LA team. Blatantly, they're anti-LA. Like, they are very much like hashtag beat LA is a big thing for them, right? So like, no, you're adding in other variables, and that's fine. I don't know. What is your team, by the way? You're talking pretty high on Chargers. You mentioned the 49ers now. Are you a Chiefs fan? Zathan. I'm not over that name. There's also, and I say this again, is zero intention of being a jerk. That is the new name that I will now use when I'm like inserting a Gen Z thing into something. That's my go-to Gen Z name now, is Ethan, because that's hilarious. Not in a bad way. Okay, Chiefs fan. Okay, so Zathan is a Chiefs fan, but loves the Chargers. I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down, dude. That's cool though, man. Our teams have won the last 2 Super Bowls. Hey. Hell yeah, GP coming in with the fire comment here. Everybody go like this or so. How do you like on YouTube? I don't know. I'm so bad at social media. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, the Niners on the escalators is so funny. That's so funny. That's my favorite stuff, dude. Favorite stuff. That's so funny because, like, yeah, they can win the regular season if they want. If every time we match up in the regular season or in the postseason we win. Because the thing to think about with the Niners and like the Rams fan base in general, when we're talking fans here, right? We're talking about like who runs LA, you know? I mean, obviously it's the Rams, but like let me explain. When you leave a city for 20 plus years and go to the Midwest to play some football for a little while, you just frustrated a lot of your longtime fans. I know people who were Rams fans, and then when the Rams left, they felt like they're so much LA. These people are, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with any decisions made, but like I know people that were Rams fans, and then when the Rams moved, became fans of other teams, whether that was the Raiders or the 49ers, wanted it to be a California team because they were there. It's more of like a home team kind of thing. And I'm not that way. I'm born and raised in Colorado, and I don't give a crap about the Broncos, right? So like there's that kind of there's people that want the home team, stuff like that. But when you consider that kind of thing that happened, they felt very like burned by the Rams when Georgia ended up moving the team to St. Louis. So you also have to consider you lost a lot of fans in that era. And also in that 20 years, you have a lot of people being born who don't have a home team anymore. So they're picking other teams. They're picking the Raiders. They're picking the 49ers. They're picking the Cardinals. They're picking the Broncos. They're picking the Cowboys. They're picking the Patriots. Like that, the Steelers, that kind of stuff is happening. The Packers, that's a very real thing. So when the team goes back to LA now, and we've only been back, this is what, season 8 that we're back in LA? That's baby times, man. Like we're talking infant style now, being back in LA still. Even though we've seen 2 Super Bowls and won one, and like division titles and all this stuff, we're seeing all this stuff, and we're building it. The fan base is getting built back up, but you have to consider that it takes time. It's like if you were born when the Rams came back to LA, you're only 8 years old right now. Like you don't know what the heck is going on with football. When I was 8 years old, all I knew was that Marshall Faulk was super sick. That was it. Marshall Faulk and Junior Seau. Those are the 2 football players that I knew, and I loved them. Like that was it. So when you have people that are growing up with the Rams and going to SoFi Stadium every weekend and stuff like that, and just being a part of it and seeing it, and then like maybe digging into some history and stuff like that, and learning about Deacon Jones and Roman Gabriel and Vince Ferragamo and these guys like back in the day, then that love for the team will come back. But to say 8 years back in LA, the Rams don't have a fan base, or I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's reasonable to say that, because you have to have enough time. And I'm when the Rams moved back to LA, I said 20 years before we're back ingrained into the fabric of LA, being an LA team again. It's going to take time. It's not something that just happens because you decide to show back up. I think this logo was designed for that specific reason, to help along that process, to say like, we are LA, we are here to stay, and we're back, and we love you guys, kind of thing. You know, I think it's all part of it. I think every aspect of this is part of it. The stadium that Stan Kroenke, owner of the Rams, built. I think that's part of it too. It's like not just coming back to LA and then just worrying about the Coliseum or getting a normal stadium like Levi Stadium or something. So a stadium that's like fine, it does its job, it hosts football games, but it's ultimately kind of boring. Like that wasn't even the case. You do a total overhaul with your colors and your logo and your uniforms, and make them bright, flashy. You fire your mustache. First of all, no hate on mustaches, but you fire your mustached old coach who's stuck in the 80s for like a young dude who's got gelled hair and Sean McVay, and just you get your fancy quarterback number 1 overall who went to Cal and stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff is all part of it, of building back into the fabric of Los Angeles. And I think the Rams are doing a very good job of that, but it is going to take some time. So to say one way or the other that any other team is not an LA team, I don't think is reasonable. I will say that I do think that the Chargers do pick up one of their options. They have a 20-year lease right now that they're in playing at SoFi Stadium for $1 a year. And then solely the Chargers can decide if they extend that. They have 2 different 10-year options that they solely control. So if the Chargers in 20 years of playing at SoFi Stadium decide that they want to stick around, which Dean Spanos, if he sticks around, then I would assume so, because he's super cheap and stuff like that. So to play at a stadium like SoFi Stadium for $1 a year, that's not a bad gig, right? So, but ultimately, I do think that the Chargers end up back in San Diego at some point, and I do think it'll be a similar Rams-style situation where they go back to San Diego and then have to rebuild their rapport as well, because as we know, a lot of San Diego fans left the Chargers. So I just think it's going to take some time. It's like 8 years in. It's even with a Super Bowl, even with like a pretty like a flashy team with superstars and an awesome venue and cool helmets and stuff like that, it's going to take some time. So I do appreciate the input, Zathan, but I respectfully disagree. I I don't think that you're on the right path for that. Like I think that the Rams are a Los Angeles team through and through, and I think that the Chargers are not. Even though, in fairness, Chargers' first year was in LA, Rams' first year was in Cleveland. Yeah, kind of exactly what I was saying. And well, the Rams left for a few years. There was a lot of kids who had no LA football team to root for, so they went with Niners. Yes, exactly what I'm saying here. Sorry I didn't see your comment there, Edwin. I would have just tried to build on that. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's built through time. It's built through memories. Kids going to games, and remembering, stuff like what if a kid's first football game was I'm sure it happened that some kid out there, his first football game was Matthew Stafford's first game at SoFi Stadium against the Bears in prime time, where he's sitting there, he sees this crazy stadium. Oh man, Terry McLaurin now. That's too bad. But he sees this crazy stadium. Then Matthew Stafford hits Van Jefferson deep for that touchdown, that opening touchdown, and maybe that was it, man. Because I don't know about you, and maybe you have some insight here on how you became a fan of the Chiefs. Because for myself, it was Marshall Faulk, man, and maybe there's going to be people like that. There's probably kids right now watching Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp, and maybe even guys like Kobe Durant and stuff like that that are just getting into it right now. And they'll be locked in as lifelong fans. So it takes time. Rams have only been back for a few years, so I think the Rams defense is going to be bad. I disagree. If for no other reason than we don't know yet, because if we're basing off of what we've seen in preseason, I don't think that's reasonable. Rams are finished, and there's a new Tom Brady, and he's on the Chiefs. Those things are not related. Those are two very different things. Rams are not finished. Maybe, but maybe not. The Chiefs are seeming like they're on the positive end of a really good dynasty, though. Seems like they got plenty of good winning years in them. So hopefully you're taking advantage of this, man, and not taking it for granted, because as a Rams fan, I can tell you that it can go away real fast, and it can go away for a long time. I saw a lot of St. Louis years that I wish I could forget. But in a weird way, I don't, because then also, that Super Bowl win against the Bengals, that felt so good. Just remembering, I remember going into that week, Rams had just beat the Niners, so we're already feeling pretty good. You're playing at home against a really good team in the Bengals in the Super Bowl, your second Super Bowl in just a couple of years. And I remember that week thinking about watching the 2009 Rams, where we had one win. It was at the Detroit Lions, and without Steven Jackson, we don't win that game. So we have a winless year under our belts, and it's later, man. Thanks for stopping by, Zathan. Appreciate you, man. New Tom Brady could be the old Tom Brady. Mahomes is afraid of AD. That is true, actually. But also, in fairness, GP, every human being is afraid of Aaron Donald. That's just a reasonable response to seeing Aaron Donald is fear. If you see Aaron Donald and you don't feel fear, you may not be human. You might, maybe. So I know there's a lot of talk about aliens, right? I feel like you know where I'm going with this. What if? What if we find out that Aaron Donald is actually an alien? I don't think there's any league rules about that. Are there any NFL rules that say you have to be human? I don't think so. Powerman 5000 might have some input. Cam Akers in the second pick for Jonathan Taylor. Dude, no. Daniel, you coming in here just talking madness, dude. If you want to hop on the stream, let me know. I'm going to wrap up here soon. I intended to only go for about an hour. Now we're sitting at 2, so that's cool. This tends to happen to me, though. By the way, did anybody watch live the press conference today with Raheem Morris and Mike LaFleur? whether you did or not, something happened on there that I realize is like probably dark humor, but I like that kind of stuff. Somebody had their YouTube name as Hurricane Hillary, and he was like, "I'm here," and it made me laugh. That's all. That's all. You'll hop on here. Boom. Do this, man. Stop talking this mess, bro. Come defend these comments, man, because you're talking crazy over here, Daniel. Because first of all, I don't think our defense is gonna be that bad. I'll let you defend yourself though. I'll let you join. All right, and then we'll hop out of here because I got some stuff to do, dude. I got some stuff to do. This is gonna be the craziest week of my life, I think, with all the madness it has going on. I'll kind of tell you, there's just Friday's a very busy work day for me. We got a concert coming through that it's kind of an all hands on deck kind of deal. So I'll be pretty busy for that. And then the very next day, I'll be in Denver all day long watching the boys. You click on the link that I have in the comments, and then fill out your just put your name or whatever. You can only do audio. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand. We'll put you in. We'll put you in. But yeah. And then Sunday, I ended up scoring through work, of course, but I ended up scoring press passes to the Comic-Con. So I'm going to go do that, try to meet some people. And then Incubus is in town, which I realize is a hilarious sentence. And it reminds me of, who was that, Nick Kroll? He was like, "Sorry, I missed your mom's funeral, but Incubus is in town." I'm gonna use that all week. I need to pull that soundbite, actually, so I can use it on air. It's good stuff. Hurry up, Daniel. Hungry. Yeah, so that's kind of where my week is at. And then of course I don't know what kind of madness I'm gonna get into on Saturday. I'm not even allowed to talk about the madness that I got into this past Saturday. I just don't think it's appropriate for this stream. I had a good time though. It was fun. So Daniel. I don't think he's coming. Hey, you lied to my face. It's okay. You're just getting lied to. I just didn't expect this from you, Daniel. Oh, there he is. All right. All right. Hey, dude, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm great. Okay, so let's get to this Jonathan Taylor conversation.
Yeah.
The only reason I say, the only issue I have with Cam Akers is the way he started last season off. He went from, we just won a Super Bowl, everything was great, and then he just went crazy and started having this attitude. I don't know if he was having issues with Darrell Henderson.
Hold on. We don't know what happened.
But I just felt like he gave up on us so quickly.
But the only defense that I would say on that, because I do agree with you that we had some weird stuff going on with Cam Akers last year, and where he was just he's healthy scratch and stuff like that. But again, the only thing that I'll say is we don't know the whole story. So I don't know what those conversations were that got him to feel that he needed to do any of that stuff. Maybe it was all him. Maybe I'm defending the wrong person here. But there's two parts to this story, and unfortunately, we don't know either side. We only know the information that was given to us.
And I honestly like Jonathan Taylor. If we can block
Jonathan
for
Taylor
him.
is an absolute monster, and if we could get him, I'm all in. And I'll be honest here. So you said Cam Akers in a second for Jonathan Taylor. That totally checks out, dude. And I actually the more I read that over and over again, that checks out. I would totally do that because you have Cam Akers in a contract year, so you might you're going to have to pay a running back next year anyway, and it's obviously not going to be Cam Akers. We're not going to pay Cam Akers, right? I think we can all agree on that. This is probably his last year here, and if he does come back, it's probably going to be for a contract that he's probably unhappy with. At least he'll be in the group chat at that point, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
But Jonathan Taylor, man, I mean, you are giving up stuff to get him, and I don't know if Cam Akers in the second even does it. But you also then have to pay him, and that's where it gets a little dicey. But he is also extremely
Well, we'll have
talented.
$75 million next year, won't we?
Oh yeah, we got dollar bills next year, dude.
So we would just have. Jonathan Taylor is a generational player. Like if he's properly blocked for. I'm just
agree.
gonna blame Matt Ryan for last year for the Colts.
That's fair.
Because
That's-
all he wanted to do is throw the ball.
Well, and who like? I will say, I think Shane Steichen is going to be the real deal up there. I think that the coaching change is a very necessary thing.
Yeah, I thought it was extremely funny that Sean Payton threw Sean McDermott under the bus. Wait, who? Hackett. Yeah, that guy. I thought it was hilarious that he threw him under the bus so quickly.
Yeah,
and then he goes, he broke the coach's code, blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, you did such a bad job. It'll go down as the worst franchising.
Dude, like honestly, you get like a Hall of Fame level quarterback and then run a franchise into the ground year one. Like, come on.
Yeah, he didn't even make it 17 games. So.
And I'm pretty sure too that like Nathaniel Hackett probably in his interview was like, "Yo, Aaron Rodgers wants to go. If I come here, he'll come." And then it didn't happen, and so then they went with just the next best option, which was Russell Wilson, and it didn't work out. So then I feel like he entered the year is like they probably were pissed. They probably were like, "Yeah, you're not that guy."
Yeah.
So okay, I also want to touch on your comment here about the defense being bad. Can you please do you mind elaborating on that? What do you think?
I think we're gonna have a height issue.
A height issue?
Yeah. Tomlinson. He
That's
is
5'8".
5'8".
Yeah, he's one guy. And incredible at football, by the way.
Yeah, he'd have to jump like a jumping spider to.
Bro, are you watching these preseason games?
Unfortunately.
Huge.
Is he? I haven't seen any of the footage yet.
Fair. But he had a really sick pass breakup yesterday or Saturday. I don't remember who that was on, but in the Chargers game, he was going up against Johnson, who was like 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and he was definitely holding his own. I don't think height's as big of an issue as some night.
That's exciting.
Dude's good at football, man. And like even Durant, I feel like people think Durant's small, but he's like 6'1". Like I don't know.
Isn't Ramsey like 6'4"?
Yeah, Ramsey's big dude though. Ramsey's, I mean, he's one of those athletes that you're just like, dude, you're born to play this sport. Like he's a different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I would say that like if depending on what you're basing off of, like why you think we're going to be bad, because there's of course different arguments, and I could be very off. We could have like a historically bad defense this year, but I would say that that with the amount of young guys we have, I like to see the continuity in the coaching staff. So that I think is a plus. I also think that we have guys who are hungry. I think that like Aaron Donald being super hungry, Ernest Jones is blatantly really hungry. I like the energy that Jordan Fuller has this year. And we have just a bunch of young guys who are out here trying to feed themselves, man, trying to pay the bills. So I think that we have a really good team this year, and I think we're underrated, but also, like I said, I could be absolutely wrong. The youth could absolutely get to this team. The inexperience could absolutely bite us, and it could be a rough year. But I like to, I guess, just choose positive, you know.
I'm gonna throw you a betting tip right now for a Rams pick.
Okay.
So I don't know if you bet on football or anything,
yeah,
but
I do.
Aaron Donald is 300-1 to win NFL MVP. 300-1. And if he is in the best shape of his life, and like, I think he'll come hungry because of how bad last year was. And all I think he has to do is break the NFL record for sacks to get MVP.
Okay, well, I will say that I believe that if you are thinking that Aaron Donald is in for an MVP type season, then I think that you are almost contradicting yourself saying that this defense is going to be bad. If you think we have the NFL MVP on our defense and we're going to have a bad defense, I just don't think that those two things happen together.
Yeah, I guess you got me there.
I'm not trying to get you here or anything like that. Just trying to
But I think the ceiling for us is 10-7, and the floor could be anything if our offensive line is bad.
I will say that I really don't think that we're worse than last year because of the historical injuries that we had last year. So I think I wrote this up on ramshowcase.com. I had a little piece in there that I said that I think our floor is 5 because I don't think we get worse than were last year. But if we deal with these same injuries and the inexperience bites us, I think 5 is reasonable, something that we could see. As far as the max go, I feel about where you're at there, the 10. I think a 10-win season is realistic for this team. And then the bad NFC, just make it to the playoffs, man. Anything can happen once you get there.
Yeah, my dad's an extreme Dallas Cowboys fan, and he's like, the Cowboys are going to win the division this year. There hasn't been a duplicate NFC East team win 2 years in a row. I'm like, Dad, the Eagles did not get worse in any position that they got this year.
Except for offensive coordinator, which I think is big.
Oh, yeah. Did they get a new offense coordinator?
Well, yeah, Shane Steichen went to the Colts. So,
oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think that's a big hit, actually. And I actually, I'll tell you this. I don't think I've told anybody this. And I just don't really make my bets public, I guess. I just kind of make them myself and then just kind of ride with them. But I actually have the Giants winning that division.
You have the Giants winning that division?
Yeah.
Holy buckets.
I like the Giants this year.
I think that the Giants are weak on the wide receiving core, though.
Yeah, but I think that that Saquon and the way that he's coming back right now, he's looking good. I think he's feeling good from what I can tell and stuff like that. I think having some continuity in the coaching staff now, I'm liking the Giants, man. I think both New York teams are exciting this year. At the very minimum, they're at least going to be fun to watch. Whether they're good or not, I don't know, but they're at least going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
well, bud, I'll let you go.
sure, man.
Have a good night. Yeah, I'm going to message you later, okay?
For sure, man. Sounds good.
Yep. Have a great night. Bye.
Later. All right. Danny coming in, and I think I got him a little bit, which is team Jones 1. James 0. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna eat and stuff like that. So thanks for hanging out. Every Rams fan who decided to hop on, or a Chiefs fan apparently, with the funniest name I've ever heard in my life, in the least rude way possible. I'm really not trying to be a jerk to Zathan. That name is absolutely hysterical to me. We kind of talk about this sometimes at work about like hilarious Gen Z names. Never heard that one, and that one's now on the list. So thanks again for hopping in, guys, and until next time, we'll of course be back at it next Monday. If you're going to be in Denver, definitely hit me up because I will be out there all day long out at Invesco Field, I think it's called. So other than that, peace out.